Good evening, everyone. Hello, it's good to see you. It's Sunday, November 24th. We're here to discuss Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers. We have a special guest with us this evening. Silver's on the scene, he's in the waiting room. I'm going to let him up in just a second. I want to say hello, Shining Star, Kimberly Joe, Queen Cece, Mally Cat, Sandy Shaw. Hi, Susan Elizabeth. Great to see family members in tonight. Me and you, it's Crystal. Jen Benners, thank you for being here to mod. Ginger Girl, thank you for being here to mod. We have wonderful mods on this channel. I appreciate you. Hello, Car Guy, Starlito. Okay, we are here to discuss Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers this evening. You had been asking myself and Silvers to discuss together on a live, and we are here to do so. Silvers on the Scene is going to share about his search efforts this past week. And without further ado, and we'll talk about some of the developing stories as well that have come across in the last week. Without further ado, I am going to let Silvers on the Scene up. Please be kind in the chat, everyone. Let's all listen nicely. Please do not mention any creators. Hi, Lori. Hello, everyone. Okay, let me let him up. Hi, Silvers. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. How are you doing, Jay?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing great.
It's good to have you.
Thank you for having me. It's my pleasure. I feel honored to be here. So thank you.
Well, thank you. The crowd has been asking for us to get together and talk to them a little bit about Sebastian together. So I think, and it's a perfect time, I think, with so much movement and updates and little possible sightings and all that, the reward being raised. Don't you think? It's just.
It is a perfect time. And, it's not being a Sunday night as well, then that always takes me back to from Sunday night to Monday morning when he disappeared on us. So 272 days today, he's been gone. So
Unbelievable, isn't it?
Yes.
Unbelievable that it's been, it'll be 9 months and 2 days, right?
Yes. Tuesday. Well, it depends on how you look at it. Tomorrow will be the 25th, and that's 9 months from that Sunday night, and then Tuesday the 26th when he was reported missing. So,
long time.
9 months. 9 months, way too long. Exactly. It's kind of hard to believe, but yeah, here we are.
I know, and we've talked about. You mentioned Seth saying it's been like one big long day, and I just.
I'm so glad you brought that up. Thank you for bringing that up because. There's a lot of different reasons that I'm doing what I'm doing and trying to find Sebastian, as are many people. And it was when he made that statement. It's been like one long continuous day. It really struck me hard, because we don't know what he's going through and what he's feeling, and hopefully I never have to experience it as he is now. But when he made that statement, and he kind of echoed that statement a little bit on his live the other night as well. So, yeah, it really hits me in the heart. So,
yeah, I told you the one that hits me is when he said, it takes a village to raise a child. It's going to take the world to help me find mine. Oh,
yes.
That's just right in the heart, You just feel it resonate from the words.
Absolutely, and I'm glad you brought that up because you're absolutely right. I agree with you on that, and where that brings me to as well is like it's almost his cry for help, right? Because we talk about it. I know you do. That's why I love your channel. That's why I feel honored to be on this channel with you tonight, because you echo what he's saying there. That the biggest thing, you and I kind of text a little bit, just so everybody knows. This is my first time to speak. You prefer me to call you Buzz or Jay, or what do you like?
Jay. I just put Buzz on there. It's easier than writing primetime Buzz. Call me Jay like you do when we text. That's fine.
Okay, perfect. So as we're texting, we're like, hey, we'll just meet for the first time on the chat. But in the text, one of the things I said, because this, if anybody doesn't know, this is the first live I've ever done on YouTube. So thank you for having me. And so we had, we basically come out and say, regardless of which way it goes or how it goes, I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be informative. And but mainly we are bringing awareness. Okay.
Absolutely.
And that, yeah, that's the biggest thing. When
Absolutely.
people email me all the time, what can I do? No matter where you are, that's why I come up with the say his name, spread the awareness in any way you feel, that's best for you. Go out physically, place a fire somewhere, post it on social media. Just simply say his name, put that energy out there, because much like what Seth said with that village quote, it where we are now, 9 months, it's gonna take all of us to find this boy. So
I agree with you. And the more I say the same thing, people say, well, I can't get out and I can't look and I can't hang flyers. You're raising awareness when you share a video, when you tell his story, say his name, talk about him. So many people, everyone needs to hear it. And I so appreciate Dog and At Night coming in, because Dog Celebrity has brought a whole different audience to the case.
Oh, that's exactly right. That's exactly right. I remember when he first got involved, and we won't spend time. It's distractions, but people who don't have kind words, right? And so it's one of those things, though. Just as you said, just him getting involved will bring a level of celebrity, a level of exposure that wasn't there before. Okay, and not only that, but the thing that kind of is amazing to me is, you were doing this long before. I was doing this long before. So many people were. It's not about the money for us. But when he was involved, when he got involved, that reward just skyrocketed. And to where we are now, $200,000,
I
right?
mean, it's just unbelievable.
It's unbelievable. And, I just want to say to that point, for anyone listening, watching, I mean, no judgment. If you know something, come forth and say something. If you've seen something, share that with somebody. I mean, if you do it for nothing but the money, just do it, because Sebastian Rogers needs to be found. He needs to be brought home. He needs to be reunited with his father, and we need to move forth. For me, and I guess I'll go ahead and say this now to get it out of the way. Allegedly, in my opinion, right, as we do the
Right.
disclaimer thing.
Oh, that's
but
right.
but for me, sometimes I've had comments, or what about the other side, right? Because I only know what I can see. Okay. And what I can see is there is one side looking for him. And I hate to use the word sides, but there is one parent looking for him, and there's another not. And that's my opinion. That's my belief. But it's, if you watch my video from yesterday in the search there, 1 mile from his home.
Yes, I was going to ask you about that. Go ahead.
Well, towards the end of it, probably it's like almost 2 hours long, and we were out there. And I want to thank publicly Car Guy 1, Car Guy 2. Thank you so much for your help. This is the second search we've been on together. We were out there for well over 4 hours, probably more like 4.5 hours. Not all of that is recorded. The camera stops from time to time. We keep searching. We try to get the stuff that really brings people in to see. But as we talk about this, towards the end of that, and you start wearing down. I'm not a young person. I wish I was. But as you start getting there, there was a point I was off to myself, looking in areas, and it came across me. I mean, I'm a mile from their home. I don't know if they were there at that point in time, but I just said, hey, Katie Proudfoot, Chris Proudfoot, give me some help here. I'm asking your son for help, trying to connect with him. There's people out here helping. Where is the help? I mean, if he just walked out as you said he did, help me somehow. Come out here with me, walk with me, look with me, search with me. Tell me something about him that you haven't told. Give me some direction to go, because I'm only trying to bring your son home. Do you even care that I'm doing that? So it just kind of hit me. And then I get back to my normal positive self of, let's keep looking for Sebastian. But it was kind of like, yeah, who knows if they watch my videos, but the point being is, you know, I'm asking now live here that if anyone knows them, if they know how to contact them. I mean, that's what we're doing. We're trying to find Sebastian. It's real simple. We're trying to find the boy you have on the screen here, that face. We've been looking for him. I started looking, my first boots on the ground, if you will, was June 20th. I remember that day because it is our anniversary, Silver's 2 and I.
Aw.
And I was out. I had driven by the home. I think it was the first time I'd driven by the home, maybe the second. And I said, "What can I do?" And as I pulled out of the neighborhood, I go back to Casey Anthony and Kaylee Anthony. May Kaylee rest in peace. And I was living in California at the time, so I was far away, like most people are with this case. So I couldn't physically get there. So I know how people feel when they say, "I would love to be there and help." So this past October, so it's been more than a year ago, I was in the Orlando area and had a chance to do a drive-by just to, that's why I'm called Silver's on the Scene,
Uh-huh.
is to go to the scene where things happen, that we know something happened here. And what really just completely blew my mind, shocked me to my core, was how close little Kaylee was placed in the woods from her home.
Yes.
and and
Yes.
and it was just unbelievable, right? And so I took that when I started looking for Sebastian, and that first walk I did, I called it, I'm just looking. I didn't know what I'm the utility guy who's walking and stumbles across this poor child and can bring him home. And um and so um and it was a mile from the house, right? Kaylee was more like a half a mile. So I've always kind of used that. I talk about it in a lot of my videos where I try to do logical thinking and not just be, and not that there's anything wrong with it. Anyone can go out to the woods tomorrow. If you live in Hendersonville, Gallatin, Westmoreland, Nashville, anywhere in that area, just go walking tomorrow. You get steps in, you look for Sebastian because he could be anywhere. And that's so with the searching we did yesterday, and we can get more on that if you like. But it was very promising.
Mm-hmm.
I think Car Guy 1 and Car Guy 2 could see in me how I'm not disappointed, because when you don't find something, you help clear
Yeah,
certain
you checked
things.
it off your list, right?
You can kind of check it off the list, but
Mm-hmm.
there's something about that area. I'm not sure what it is. We can discuss further if you like, but I don't know. It just seems very
Is it the one
suspicious
you
to me.
mentioned
So
via text?
I'm sorry, what?
Is it the one that you mentioned via text today?
It is, yes,
Yeah, if
it
you want
is.
to share, certainly by all means, share whatever you want to regarding your search this week.
Yeah, so I'll just go back for the week and where we are. So as most know, I do have a full-time job, so it brings me to these areas. So you go back to the Kaylee stuff. If I would have been in those areas, I'd have been helping then too. But this is my first one to really dive into, and I want to bring Sebastian home because that's what he deserves. And the core of it is he's been done wrong. In my opinion, he's been done wrong. I think I said in a video not too long ago that if he did walk out of the home, then why? Why did he leave the home? And I put that responsibility onto the parents. If everything's good in the home, why are you leaving the home? But I will state this, in my opinion, I don't believe he walked out on his own. I believe he was assisted out in whatever form or fashion, and we go from there. So this past week, I had to come to Memphis for work, and then I made my way over to Nashville for work. Um, I was able to search Memphis Tuesday afternoon after taking care of my work business. Someone had told me about the bridge. This bridge is very close to the St. Jude's worksite. I mean, it's kind of chilling in a way because you can stand where I'm searching and see the tower cranes, and those are in my video. I highlighted that. And so the theory being that, allegedly, in my opinion, the stepdad could have brought him here to do something with him. So I searched that area. Of course, didn't find anything. It's very creepy there. And then you got the Mississippi right there too.
Yeah.
Something I've never wanted to believe,
Mm-hmm.
that he could be in there, and that's it, right? So So then we were able to leave Memphis. We came across to Nashville. I took time off on Wednesday. I wanted to support Bullhorn Betty and
Mm-hmm.
her hearing, because not just for what she's going through and show my support, but as a whole, if you're a YouTube creator and you're listening to this, you have to take note of this. We all have the right to speak our opinion. None of it's fact. I always say if it was fact, we wouldn't be having this live right now. We'd be rejoicing and celebrating that it hasn't been 9 months. Sebastian's been home for a long time. We don't know where he is. So none of it's fact. It's all of our thoughts and our ideas and us coming together as a community to figure this out and to bring this boy home. So I was there to support. The hearing, as everybody knows, was postponed. But in the process, I was able to meet a lot of great people. Her, Car Guy 1 and 2, that we've met before, and and then some other creators were there as well. And then there were some great fans there. It kind of was a shock to me. I love the attention. I'm not going to say I don't shy away from it. I do, but it was my honor to see how some people reacted when they saw me, and the biggest part of that was if they can go tell their friends and their family, so we could put more eyes and bring more awareness, because it's not about me, it's about finding Sebastian. And so then after the breakfast, Car Guy 1 and 2, Silvers 2, we went out. We searched an area in Westmoreland, a suspicious area that someone had emailed me about. They used to live there. That person and I actually got on the phone with each other a few weeks ago, and we went there, and it would have been a perfect place to place someone, to hide someone. Unfortunately, we didn't find anything, but as we said earlier, you mark that off the list. Then we were able to meet up later with Betty. I'll call her Betty, and check some areas in Hendersonville. You have to be out early because the sun at this point in time goes down very quickly. So around 4:30, it's getting dark, and it's hard to then search. And then yesterday, so met up again with Car Guy 1 and 2 because I had to work Thursday and Friday. So met up with them, and from Wednesday search till Saturday, we had a plan, and then they can tell you if Car Guy's in the chat, he can confirm. We had another spot we were going to go to, because I've searched Drake's Creek, I've searched Warsham's Market, I've searched around the storage building, all these things that most of the people who are watching and listening should know about. And I'll give exact area here in a minute, but the Long Hollow Church area. And multiple times. But the reason I go back is because of the fill-ins I get, which I had someone several months ago, maybe a couple of months after I got into looking for Sebastian. They said, your logical thinking is good to one respect where you need to go, but let yourself feel when you're there. And it really has opened up, And so over all the searches I've done,
Mm-hmm.
I get no stronger connection or feeling, if you will. I don't really know what to call it, than when I'm there. And I don't know if that means he's visited there before he disappeared, if he's been there during these 9 months at some point in time. So anyway, but that wasn't what
So
we
you
were going to
put
search.
that, you kind of put that, so you have that feeling and that emotion to the place.
Yeah. So I guess
Sorry.
the best way I can describe it for everyone listening is, because
Mm-hmm.
I don't know myself, it was more of, I'm a very logical thinker. Okay. That's what I do in my business. I'm a full time. And I think it helps trying to solve this and find where Sebastian is. But people were telling me, I have people close to me that were saying, hey, kind of get out of your head, just kind of get out of your head, kind of go with your feeling, how you're connecting. And just to plainly say it, ask Sebastian for help. Can you confirm if you're with us still, or if you're not with us, and see if anything happens.
Mm-hmm.
And the way I operate, just so you know, that is never going to be on camera. You're not ever going to see that on camera. So sometimes when you hear me say I'm going to cut camera and I'll be back, those are some of the things I'm doing, because I'm trying to see, should I continue 10 more feet in this direction, or should I go somewhere else? Because when you're out there, and some of the places I've been, it's just so open. You know, if you had 1,000 people, it would be hard to cover. And so, so going back to I've Memphis. I really believe that he was in that area for the longest. Yet I've never had a fill-in there. Other places in Hendersonville, I've never had fill-ins. But this Straits Creek, I just don't know how to explain it. It's almost like he's calling me, saying, "I'm here. You know, you're close, but I don't know where to go." Right? I mean, so, so we were going to look somewhere else based on some other tips. But then between Wednesday and yesterday, someone sent me this post of a lady. She's overseas. I thought I'll say, because I don't know if she would like for me to say her name or anything.
Uh-huh.
But she had sent out a post. Maybe everybody here has seen the post. It found its way to me multiple times. And I'm looking at this and I'm going, and I immediately go to the maps, how we did, right? How you did. You let us know Westmoreland 27, and we came together on that. And I couldn't make it because I was not in the area. So I mapped out that area and said, this is where I would go. A little bit of how I think, right? How I go into an area. And so when I'm looking at what she's talking about, I'm just getting chills, because this is the spot where I keep coming back to. If you look at all of my searches, for the most part, they're all different. You know, they may be in the same city, but in a different spot in that city. But I keep coming back here. And
And that's
so,
interesting, if I can just say something for a sec.
sure,
That's really
absolutely.
interesting. You're talking Drake's Creek, right?
Yes.
Because I remember I had found Mary's Magical Place. And there, when I was looking at that, and I got on, and was searching through the area, boy. And then you did a video shortly after that, and you were searching there. And I
Yes.
agree with, there's something about that area that I keep in my mind going back to Drake's Creek. And I believe Seth searched there too, in the water.
Yes. And that's the thing. There's not only has self search, but this was this. So depending on, Drake's Creek runs through the town. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very long creek. It's beautiful. There's spots that are really beautiful. There's
Mm-hmm.
spots that behind Warshomes are kind of trashy, where people have thrown trash off. But for the most part, it's really pretty. And I've taken some really nice photos from there. And so, it falls within, of course, where we searched on yesterday is 1 mile from his home. So within the 5 mile radius that people
Mm-hmm.
searched. And then, where you're talking about with Mary's Magical Place, because I believe it was Katie that stated that was his favorite place to go. I
Mm-hmm.
believe she even said he wanted to go there after the Roadhouse. And just to give you an idea, if you're unfamiliar, the Roadhouse sits on the other side of Drake's Creek. So
Right.
if you're at the Roadhouse, he knows he's close to it,
And
right?
I almost
Now,
wondered, did he get upset and run? I
that
almost wondered that.
that's a great yes, that's a great theory, great thought. So I go over there, and so I was over there, and so when you're at the creek there at the Magical Place, it's like 5.2 miles.
Okay.
And so then you say to yourself, okay, 5 miles. I don't know these searches and how they're coordinated, but do they stick to 5 miles? Do they stop at 4.8? Do they go to 5.2? Do they go to 5.5? I don't know. But knowing that it's a place he went and visited, I'm sure they searched there. And I will say it in my videos that I'm sure people have looked here. But I think we know, and we can all go back and research many, many cases to where dogs have searched in certain spots. Thousands of people have hand in hand searched in areas. And then months later, years later, persons found where, people went thoroughly over that area. It's a combination of just overstepping the missing person, the dog not picking up the scent at the right time, or, other allegedly criminal things, to where people are moved and placed, once the search is done, you bring somebody back or whatever. So, and I felt that feeling at the Mary's Magical Place, but not as strong
Uh-huh.
as the one from 1 mile from his home. So the Drake's Creek is where I get my feeling when I'm in the creek. When
When
I'm
you're
in the
in the
creek,
creek. Oh,
when I'm in the
wow.
creek, and
Okay.
I'm asking, I'll just share it. I mean, I'm the kind of, I am who I am. So, because I know some people, it's hard for them to think like this. I'm very open-minded, and
Mhm.
in this case, we need all the help we can get.
Oh, yes.
Okay, and so I'm going to go down almost any road I can if I feel like it makes sense. And so many months ago, one of my first searches there, I had learned to be open more, to try connection, speak to them, if you will, not knowing what I'm doing, and as I've said in all the places I've done, this is the one to where I feel like I received some type of answer. I received something that let me know, I'm close, or you're no longer with us, or, whatever I'm asking at the
Uh-huh.
time. And as I said, I cut camera off, and I never do it. And, and I've been out there and I've said, come on, son, just show me where you are, because I will bring you home.
Mm. Silvers, that gives me the chills.
I just have to know where you are,
Mhm.
So between Wednesday and Saturday, we were going to go, and then this came across, and I'm looking at this, so I think when I text you, you could feel maybe the excitement, maybe,
Oh,
or
yes.
the
Yes.
enthusiasm,
Yes.
and
I was
and
on the edge of my seat. Wait.
and so I've learned, in life, throw a little life lesson. The less expectations you have, the less disappointed you'll be. And I never want to use that term looking for Sebastian, but there's been other times I've gone to places, one in particular in the Horn Lake, Mississippi area, to where I was kind of nervous that entire day, thinking this could be it, right? And
Mhm.
but I don't allow myself to go, okay, boy, that's just you got to keep pushing on. You chalk that off as well. If someone calls me and says, "Hey, have you looked here?" Yes, maybe we should go back, or I think it's clear. And so that's how I felt with this, because it completely changed our plans.
Mhm.
And discussed it with Carl Guy, 1 and 2, and why, and the reasons why. And I think we did a very thorough walk around. I mean, I was just, looking for something that searchers have overlooked, or, in my opinion, allegedly, in my opinion, I'll state this very clearly. Maybe he was, maybe he found his way there in whatever way after searches. So how do you conclude this search? 'Cause I always like to kind of give a
Yeah.
conclusion, and I told this to the person who has been helping me from afar to help, if you will, guide me this way. Um, I leave that area with a very suspicious thought, theory, idea that I don't at this time know where to go forward with. I don't know how to accomplish something I would like to accomplish. So I'm working on that. I don't really want to share it, other
Mhm.
than the fact that if you take the feelings I've had, you take my experience, if you take what's being seen, if you want to call remote view, or ever how you want to bring that up, there's just it gives me pause that something either happened in this area, and that was 9 months ago, that was 7 months ago, 8 months ago, or there's still something in this area. So it's one of the two. I strongly believe if he's not there, then he may have been there at one point in time. So
Hmm. Well, keep keeping on. We appreciate the boots on the ground.
thank
Did
you.
did you find any articles or anything on your searches this week? Anything that made you pause, question, grab, submit, anything like that? That you can
No, there no, there were a couple of t-shirts
Mhm.
found, and all we can go off of is what we're told, that we're looking for a particular size or particular color. In this case, one did not match the color at all, and the other one was too large, right? Because he's, at 120 pounds, 5'5", he's not that big of a boy. And so, and with that respect too, it's very interesting you bring that up, because from what I've found in all the searches, mainly goes over to Horn Lake where I did the search on the abandoned home,
Mhm.
and we did find some pants and a T-shirt. They were not together; they were separate spots of the home, but both would be something that would be his size and would fit. And so we had them, and Christy helped me search over there way back then. And if you remember on that particular search, the police found us. Okay, so the police found
Mhm.
us as we were searching, and as soon as we told them about Sebastian, very nice. There were 3 police officers there. They had no idea that he was missing. They had they knew nothing of him. And as we stood there discussing it, you can look across the street at at the time the Proudfoot trailer RV was not there, but it had been there previously, and
Mm.
to the point of it was parked in the front spot. And I've stood there at this abandoned home. I've looked across the street, and that camera above the door was facing me. So, just some eerie feelings about that. But I still, with all of that, never connected with what I feel like connected with Sebastian there, although I tried. Um, but yeah, the police. So my point is, we had a couple of items of clothing. We tried to give it to them. They did do a police report. They filed a police report about the situation. They contacted the homeowner. It's abandoned and been abandoned for double-digit years. So a homeowner was like, "Yeah, go ahead, search as much as you like." I have gone back based on viewers watching and coming along with us. That's what I do. I go to the scene. I bring a camera so everyone who can't get there can come along with us.
Mhm.
I hope the videos are clear and it can
Oh, I
help you.
love them. Absolutely love them.
Thank you, thank you. And so to go is you can pause your screen or your phone or your computer and say, hey, maybe I'm sick, because just like yesterday, I give let's give car guy 2, all right. Let's give her so much credit because I'm walking, car guy 1's behind me and she's back behind him, and we both get stopped because we walked right by a shirt. And
Mhm.
so it's just that's how easy it is, especially in my mind where I was going to a destination, and sometimes you just forget to look along the way. And so walking in that line, if I miss it, he may get it. If he misses it, she may get it. And she did. And so that just validates the video. And who cares about the views? I just want as many people to watch, so that's as many eyes, sets of eyes, right? And I get emails all the time, and they say, "Can you go back and check this? Can you go back and check this? Can you look at this?" And I'll give one in particular. The first time we searched with Car Guy 1 and 2 was at the 27.27 mark, and we were on our way to look for something, and we passed by a TV turned upside down. Old TV. I don't know who has those anymore, but old TV, tube TV. Well, in the video, it does appear to be like a cooler. I mean, it does look like a cooler
Mm.
upside down. And so we had a
I
lot of
remember this.
comments and a
Yeah.
lot of emails about can you go flip the cooler over? You didn't flip the cooler over. And a couple of I responded to the emails, all the emails, and it was like, it's a TV. So, but thank you, thank you for looking, I mean, because, and there's a couple of times, people will point out things, and I try to, we're there at that time, and so we have to make that decision, right?
Right.
We have to make that decision at that moment. Is this something to gather to put in law enforcement hands, or is this something we don't think is related? Case in point, I'll go back to a bag of shoes I found
Mm.
in Hendersonville, and I stood there. I did ask on the video, does anybody know that look at these shoes? They didn't have any relevance to me or to, at the time I was searching with Terry Lynn, and I asked her. We both stood and we talked about it, and it just didn't seem like something that was related to Sebastian. And we have to make those decisions at that moment, right? And because with the case in point with the Horn Lake police, they did not want to take the clothing. We tried to give it to them, okay? And they were like, this house has been abandoned for 10 plus years. kids come here and do whatever. It could be anyone. So I understand, but at the same time, so yeah. But we didn't find anything that I held on to, or anything. Now, I did find a phone. I don't know if anybody will ask about the cell phone. I did
That's
find
the
a
one that
cell
you're trying to
phone.
break into or get into?
Exactly,
Mhm.
and that's a difficult that's a difficult task,
I
right?
bet.
And it's so I've tried everything. So where we are with the cell phone, to give an update, is I still have it in my possession, but I've ordered a screen for it because from what I'm being told at the repair shop, it works. It's just we need a screen to be able to see what it's doing, and so that's been ordered. I was expecting a call this past week and I didn't get it. So when I get back home in Atlanta, that's where I've got it ordered, and we're going to put that screen on. We're going to then the next option will be to be able to get into the phone. Is it Face ID, or is it coded? And who knows? Like one of the guys said at the repair shop, you open it up and his face pops up. I mean, we don't know. I mean, more than likely, someone just threw the phone out. They were mad or whatever, but you never know, right? So these are the things I talk about, is we never know. And there's no way I could take that phone and toss it in the trash, not knowing if it related to this boy here, Sebastian Rogers, and finding him. So it may be
Because you
nothing,
don't
it may be
know, and
something.
that's the thing, like with tips too, you just thank goodness, when people give a tip, they haven't talked themselves out of it because you never know if that's the tip that's gonna help that they're waiting for.
Great point, Jay. Great point. Let me state that. That's really good. This is why you talk. I say to Silvers too all the time. She can tell you this is why you discuss things with people.
Mhm.
And with Car Guy 1 and 2, we discuss a lot of stuff, and we just, the conversation goes on sometimes forever because one thought is, it's a shared idea thing, right? So what you're saying there, I get a lot of emails that people want me to send the tip in, right?
Mhm.
Because they feel like they're not confident enough, they're not sure enough, they're afraid they'll be ridiculed, whatever it is. And so in some cases I've done it, but in most cases, more than doing it myself, I will come back and say, I believe in what you're saying. This is something that should be shared with FBI, TBI, Sumner County, law enforcement, at night, dog, whomever. You choose the one you want to send it to. And the response I get makes me feel good because they'll come back and go, thank you so much. I sent it in. Right.
Yes,
And
yes.
so, case in point is we know the Walmart sighting. Okay. So the Walmart sighting,
Right.
when that got emailed to me, because Dolly Vision I support his channel. I think he does good work. And so I had been watching him one night months earlier, and I heard the call come in that night. I heard the call come in, and it was going good for a minute. Dolly thought I think Dolly was under the impression it was a jokester. And then he got serious and he started asking the real questions. And then the guy kind of went off the rails a little bit more from what I remember. Right. So
Mhm.
then I get this email and I say, this sounds very familiar to what the call was. So at that moment, I had a chance to discard it or go for it. And I went for it. And just so happened that after I asked several questions through email, and the guy kept answering me, he was strong in his conviction. I made a drive to the Walmart because it was in my route going to where I had to go that following week. First ever police report I ever filed. I tried to go in and look at this. You can't look. So for your viewers and for anybody out there, Jay, you cannot walk into Walmart, request to see security footage, and then go, okay, come on over here, let's show you.
Oh, really? Why not?
Right? And
I
I've
was
seen
gonna
it.
do that at Texas Roadhouse.
Right, well, you definitely can't do it at Texas Roadhouse.
Mhm.
But so, and we can discuss that too. But so,
Yeah, I wanted to ask you
um,
about that, but I want to hear what you're saying. This is interesting.
yeah, so I go in and and it was just a breakdown because you don't put all this out there in the video stuff. But so I'm trying to find a manager. That's the first part, right? And, some people are nicer than others. I know they're working. I finally get this one guy who he's just, I don't feel like he's like, you need to get out of here, whatever. He's not. And so I say, look, I don't know how to say this any stronger. We have a 15-year-old autistic boy missing for like 4 months, I think it was at the time, maybe 5. And I believe he's been in your store. And as soon as I said that, he grabbed his little walkie-talkie mic or whatever and started calling the manager. And within minutes,
Wow.
maybe less than 2 minutes, I had people around me.
That's amazing.
Yeah, so it was the response was good. I hated I had to be that strong. And so then of course I say, I want to come look at I can tell you what the time and date. He says, you're not ever going to see that footage. And so then I was like, well, I don't have to. Can you go back there and look at it? And let's just eliminate it. Let's just, and so it has to be police presence. So they were very kind. They gave me detectives' names to ask for. And so I just went out to the parking lot. I made a phone call to Cleveland Police. It's Cleveland, Tennessee. And was from a dispatcher. I gave her a lot of information. Within 5 minutes, maybe, a police officer phoned me. Very nice guy. Very nice guy. Took down, I gave him the person who had emailed me's name and cell phone number. I never phoned the guy. We talked through email, but I gave it to the law officer and said, here's my number. If you need anything, you let me know. And so then this is part of the success of this. The guy who sent the email in, who allegedly had seen this, had seen Sebastian, when he came back, he said he was so thankful that I did it. And what I learned in that exchange was he didn't have the confidence to take it to law enforcement, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so then you hear a lot of people saying, oh, this guy's this and this. I don't care. That's distraction. We have to follow the leads. And
That's interesting you say that. He was in my chat last week.
Well, there
And
you go.
he was
See?
talking about the Walmart sighting, but a lot of people didn't know he was talking about 1 month ago. He said, when I saw Sebastian in Walmart, and they were kind of like, what do you mean you saw, they thought he meant now. And so I kind of looked over, saw what was going on, and I said, wait, let me explain. And I kind of gave the little backstory to those who didn't know what he was referring to. And I said, we need to thank him for calling in that lead. We don't,
and he took
any
it.
lead, don't
once
talk yourself out of. It could be the one.
That's exactly right. And so when you talk about a channel, Silver's on the Scene, Crime Time Buzz, all these other creators, when you talk about what are we doing, something I said somewhere, something I did at some point made him feel comfortable. He wasn't comfortable contacting law enforcement. And I'm not law enforcement. So don't anybody get that confused. I'm not trying to do anything that I'm not supposed to do. And he was comfortable in contacting me. And he said something along the lines of, wow, it was that easy, right? And I go, well, you just have to ask questions. That's all we're doing. We're asking questions. And we find answers when we do so. And so I did have to phone the police department because I thought they would call me back. I guess thinking like I'll look at the security footage. So I finally he did call me back finally after I left another message with him. The report that was given to me is on the date and time I had given. I gave a 3-hour window. I think it's like 10, I guess that's 4 hour, 10 to 2, a 4-hour window on a specific date in a specific area. And as I said to the officer, if nothing happened like this, then, just look at the people, So I was told on that particular date, there wasn't a teenager there to look at. That incident didn't happen. And speaking with the gentleman later than that, he believes it could be another day. He has a strong conviction that he met Sebastian. And I don't know where that's coming from. As I've told him in my last communication with him, which is probably a week ago through email.
Oh, wow.
You need to go to the police. I mean, if you feel that strongly, even though it's 4 or 5 months ago now, you need to, hold their feet to the fire and get them in there. I can't go any further with it because I didn't witness it. I wasn't the witness on that, right? You were the one who believes you saw this. And so that's the point of that whole story is if you're listening now, if you watch one of Jay's videos, if you watch one of my videos, this is how I got started. Let me just tell you this. I'm watching a video one night, and I believe it was a Saturday night, and I'd watched many videos up until that point, and I'm like, this doesn't sit right with me. This child, say his name, Sebastian Rogers, did not walk out of that home. In my opinion, that didn't happen. Okay, whether he came out hopefully alive and well, or whether he came out a different way, he didn't come out on his own, in my opinion. So I'm sitting there one day, and this is so weird, I get chills, just like we're talking now. I said, I have to say something. And so I go to my computer and I pull up Google. I make a few marks on things, and I was wrong in my first video. If you go back to my first video, I was wrong. And I stated that a few videos down my very first video, Sebastian. I thought the flashlight video we know now, the flashlight video, and we know where it's coming from. I thought it was coming from across the street. I thought that's where it was coming from, and maybe we weren't being told exactly in the neighborhood where it was coming from. When I look back on it now, I was just wrong in the layout, so I admit that. But I made this video where I put the house up top and the lights down below, and my theory at the time was something happened in the home, an accident, and I believe that he had come out unalive, given to someone to be taken wherever. And so I made it, and I sat on it for like a day. And then I finally said, so I felt the same way people feel when they want to give a tip, right? You're unsure of yourself. Oh, it's wacky. It might be considered crazy.
Trying to be a sensationalist, or something.
Exactly.
Yeah, I know. I do the same thing. When something comes across and I want to put it out there, and I'm like, well, I'm putting it out there for the good of the, searching for Sebastian information. But lately, I take a step back and I think, oh goodness, what's gonna be the ramification?
Right.
But it has to be, that can't be. That's what people want, that distraction.
That's exactly right.
They don't want me to, lay the fact out because I'm questioning, okay, now wait a minute. Because that defeats the purpose of why we're here. We're here for Sebastian.
And if you go back, and I can't state this as a fact, but I would believe, I feel strongly that it's probably happened. But if you go back to where the judge upheld the ruling in Betty's case, it was like a silence came over this entire case for about a week. And I didn't even know I was in the town. I didn't even know that court hearing was going on, because I go do my thing. I report what I report, and trying to get closer and to finding Sebastian. And so that evening before her hearing where it was upheld, I did a drive-by of the home because I'd never been there. I'd been there, I think I've been by maybe 5 times now, but I'd never gone at night. And I keep hearing there's no street lights, right? And it's so dark. And so I had Silvers 2 drive me so I could do video, and I tried
I watched that, yeah.
Thank you, and tried to give the best, idea of what it was and where we were going. And so, I go back
Silvers
to the
2
hotel.
was going too slow for you.
Yes. She would. 1 minute she's too fast. 1 minute because if I say slow down, she'll slow way down, and I go, well, you can go faster, And so, but
that was classic.
She actually passed, missed the turn in the first time too. But anyway, so we just have fun with that, right? And
she got you there. She got you there, Silvers.
She got me there. Yeah. And so, I post that video that evening, and then the next morning I wake up and I realize, because we were going to search, and I'm actually out searching 2.4 miles from his home on the opposite side of the high school, and back to where we were searching yesterday. That's where his high school is too. So I was on the other side, and 2.4 miles. And then I found out later in the day that her hearing went on, and they upheld this. And I've got a lot of comments and emails about, be careful, you may be next, right? And I'm like, what's going on here? We're trying to find a 15-year-old missing child, right? And I can
Mhm.
tell you from the, I'll go back to the Horn Lake incident.
Okay. And I want to remind me to tell you something about your Horn Lake incident because my heart was a beaten or you were, but you go ahead, finish, and then I want to comment on that.
Okay, so Silver's 2 went in. Christy was over there with us, and Christy had commented on. And for all our viewers, listen, I try my best to look at the comments. I'm more about the emails, but keep them coming because I do look at them. And Silver's 2 has been helping me look at them. So don't stop, keep them coming. But if you really have something, sometimes the email is better as far as a tip to get to Sebastian. But we love the compliments, right? I love them. So thank you, everyone. So Christy had commented on my first time to the abandoned home. And it was a simple comment. She lives in the Horn Lake area. And it
Okay.
was a simple comment of, I went further back. And
Say
when I
that again.
read
It
that,
was what?
her comment was, I went further back.
Okay.
I mean, just think about this. I'm looking at my video. And at that time, I was trying to read all the comments. And it says, I went further back. That was all it said. The username was a bunch of numbers and letters. It didn't mean anything. And I'll be honest with you, my heart sank.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is directly across the street from the RV.
Mm.
And somebody said I went further back. And I think I
Mm.
called Silvers 2 and said, you need to read, what are we talking about here? Could this be? Is this somebody bragging that they took somebody or something further back? So, of course, I replied, were you there? And so over a course of it was Christy who lives in the Horn Lake area. She had gone herself. She didn't video anything. She just goes there privately and doesn't share it with anybody, just to look, because she's very, like most people, are very emotional with this Sebastian being missing. I mean, he should not be in this situation. And so we met up a few weeks later, month later or so, and the three of us went in, Silver's 2, Christy and myself. And so after we'd gone through the houses, if you go to that house, I mean, it's across the street from Yogi Bear Park in Horn Lake, Mississippi, right on Highway 51. If you go there and you want to search it, overlook what we did, just be careful. It could fall down at any moment. I mean, the flooring, there's dead animals in there. So just be really careful. Upstairs, really bad. So after we had kind of gone to the house, we took a break for a minute, and we had all been stung by bees. And so Silvers 2 was like, hey, I'm checking out. I'll sit here and watch the car. We had it backed in to the thing. There's no trespassing signs up, but we know it's private property, but I mean, it could fall at any moment. So we had backed our car in facing the main road. So long story, the police came. And so when Christy and I walked out from the very back of this house, there were some like sheds in the back. We were trying to go through and look. We heard a male's voice, and we didn't know who it was. It was a little unnerving. So anyway, we come out, and these three guys did not know anything about Sebastian. They did not know anything about him. And not to say they were, cops are cops. So what are you guys doing here? And based on what Silvers 2 had told them, it was not what we were telling them. And so I finally said, pull your phone out. And I carry a flyer on me now so I can quickly show, but
Mm-hmm.
a physical flyer. But then I didn't have one. So I pulled out my phone and I gave it to you could tell the lead cop. And as soon as I did this, everything changed. And that's the point. Everything changed. These guys were ready to help us in any way. They told us, they called the homeowner, you can clear this home. Go anywhere in Horn Lake you need to go. And if you find yourself on private property and the owner approaches you, share the flyer with them, let them know a police report has been filed, and they can still tell you to leave their property. There's nothing we can do about that. But we believe they will either help you look or allow you to look. And that just opened up. And we did go to a couple of places that were private property, it had signs, and we were prepared after that, a couple of visits later. But so just that they were willing to help was the point, I believe, of that story, is the response we got from them not knowing anything to what they did know. And so I've told Silvers 2 from the start, I say, I don't know if I want to be in a world where you're trying to find a missing child and someone has a problem with it. I think that's evident in my video last night.
And it is. I received that warning, when we were digging into the politics. I was digging into kind of the commissioner and things, and I got a warning. And it was interesting because it's shocking, right? But
It
they were really trying to intimidate me with just one sentence. But what I found interesting was Dog's team reached out to me, and said, "Who warned you?"
really
They're honest.
okay.
So, and I keep telling, and I tell our subscribers, and a lot of the subscribers do send me their tips too. But I say to them, when you're in the chat, remember the chat's being watched, and
Yes,
make sure
yes,
you're saying, in my opinion, or if you don't want, them to come looking for what you're saying based on, then don't say it, right? Because
exactly.
they're watching the chats. They're trying to garner as much information as they can.
Well, and that brings up a point too. It's like, I don't know. I like I said, I ignore. I truly do. I mean, for any of those listening, that whatever you want to say, you got a right to say it. I've had loyal subs and followers, or whatever you want to call people who are out there really trying to find Sebastian. Say, hey, you've got some mean people making comments. Everybody has a right to that. I'm never going to pull the comment away. Some have wanted me to, but if I want my voice to be heard, they need to be able to speak what they want to speak. I don't know why they're doing it, okay? Because it's a distraction. But like I had one just recently that said that I wasn't telling the truth with Chris Proudfoot being at the Roadhouse on Sunday the 25th. Well, I didn't research that. If you go and watch my video, I clearly state that it's in, I can't say this word that well, an affidavit, right? It's in a legal document. I
Hong
showed the legal with Hong. I
exhibit.
showed the legal document because
Mhm.
it blew me away when I read it. And so I felt like I had
Me
to
too.
talk about it.
Me
And
too.
throughout that video, I'm going, we have to ask these questions. Was he there? Somebody at that place is crowded all the time. I ate there last night. It's unbelievably crowded. We had to be put on a wait list, and and then when we got there, still had to wait a little more. The point is, if anyone knows this boy's missing, it's this town. And so, was he there? And so that was my point of my video, to bring awareness that this is an illegal document, right? So I reported the document, and then I'm asking questions. So to say I said he was there, that's incorrect. Never stated that. I'm trying to find out if he's there. So that leads to last night, where I was trying to find out even more if he was there, right? Because,
Yeah.
ladies and
And
gentlemen, I'll
that's
say it like this.
interesting. I want you to tell everyone your story about I'm sorry, I did not mean to interrupt you. I thought.
No, that's fine. You stop. No, this is your show. I'm just here.
No,
You
I'm
tell me
sorry. I
what you
thought you
want.
were finished.
And so, what I was saying is, ladies and gentlemen, if and this has been I try to stay consistent. Go watch all my videos, and you find inconsistency, bring them back to me, and I'll work on getting better. But you'll see I speak on the same route each time. Is if you have nothing to hide, then why are you trying to hide something? It's that simple. It's that simple.
Well,
You know, I
and the silence is deafening, isn't it?
and silence is deafening. So
Mhm.
when I reported the legal document that said he was with dinner with them, and we know where dinner was,
Yeah.
so that puts two and two together. Was he at that Roadhouse on the 25th of February? Then the the theme of my video was, if he was there and he's not revealing this, then how can we believe anything he said? Or he said, we already know in his own words, and these, you can say alleged in my opinion if you want to this, but in his own words, he contradicts himself, right? He says one thing 1 minute and changes it to the next. So the point being, if we go all the way back to where we know, or at least we believe, right, Sebastian sat in that Roadhouse. One of the last times he was seen by others other than family, and allegedly a video that none of us have seen, but allegedly a video, I believe, Seth, when he says it was his son walking out. if that stepdad sat there, whether it was 3 minutes or 2 hours, you have to rethink everything, right? I
Absolutely.
mean, you have to rethink.
It's put me on. I've got flow charts now. Possibilities, because it does. And the alleged 4-day weekend, and I believe you're the one who broke the 4-day weekend, right? You told us about it.
Yeah, and I'll bring that up so you know how it is. Because sometimes I wonder how much I share in my videos. So I guess I'll kind of back it up with this. When I was looking in Memphis, I've only done really two. Memphis, the city. When you're standing inside the city limits, I've done 2 searches there, and one was a few months ago, which led me to an RV park about 8 miles or so from the job site. And it would be a perfect place for if you work there. I mean, it's 8 miles down the road. It's a very, I imagine at night, a very dark road in this area. And the spot I was led to by an email was on this road, going to that park, so I'm about 2 miles from the job site in this search area and about 6 miles to the RV park. So before I searched, I wanted to go to the RV spot. So I go there and I'm trying to find out if Chris Proudfoot was at this RV. I don't care when, but the night Sebastian went. Was he
Now,
here on the
what's the name
25th?
of this one? Which one is this? Because I saw you,
I don't even think I published it. All I can
Oh,
tell
okay,
you is,
okay,
yeah, all I can tell you is if you're at the job site, go 8 miles north or look on the map, you'll see an RV park.
okay.
Unlike Yogi Bear, which is kind of corporate and all over the country, this is just a
I know which one you mean now. I got
okay.
you. Okay.
So I'll go there. I have a flyer, and throughout the process, this guy picks up his phone and he phones the job site. Okay, I didn't make contact with the job; he did, and he's got this guy on speaker, and we start talking, and I'm blown away. And I'll share now with something. Maybe I don't know if I shared it in my video or not, but after about 15 minutes on this phone call, I realized how emotionally connected I am on finding Sebastian because I said earlier, in my opinion, I feel I've made a connection that has led me to, and I hate to state this, but it's just how I feel, that he's no longer with us. Okay. I hope I'm wrong. I'll be the first to say I hope I'm wrong, and I hope he's out there healthy and well. But when I had this conversation with this coworker, it hit me so powerfully. When I got back in the car with Silver's 2, she was like, "What did they say to you? What did he say to you?" Because there's only one guy there. And she goes, I go, I, I think something really bad happened to this boy. And I
Oh,
was just very emotional, right? So,
I remember you
so
saying this in your video. Yeah.
yeah, so that there's been a couple of times there's an area in near his home and then Drake's and then this maybe 3 to 4 times where I've really like almost felt like I need to pull myself back a little bit. Maybe I was getting too close in my own emotions, but it just fuels me because Sebastian needs to be brought home.
Hmm.
And hopefully he's still alive, and that would be a great reunion. That one of the times I thought I was really going to find him, I thought he may be alive, and I was really charged up on that. But even if it's the other, so he can rest, right? So he can rest, and then we can get justice for him because
Right. That'll be
so,
then the
so
journey continues. Right.
I'm saying to everyone, someone prove me wrong. Prove me wrong. Tell me that nothing foul play happened because that's what I hope is the case. But
Well, you
anyway,
know what, though, Silvers? Here's what really's gotten me. I was very emotional a couple of weeks ago. It just really hit me in my gut, and I'm going to say it too, allegedly, in my opinion, just to know how many people were caring and crying and praying that email me or message me every day, and it broke my soul that mom isn't. And I really struggled with it. And a lot of my viewers were struggling at the same time, and so they were emailing me, and we were talking about it. And that it hurts your soul because it's hard to understand.
it's very hard to understand.
It's not something that I can grasp, other than there's a
I
reason you can't. You aren't. You know what I mean?
no,
And
I
it's
know.
not because I'm a jerk. It's not because I came into this case and I thought, oh, this disappearance has to be mom. No, it's because mom's behavior, mom's words, mom's
Yeah,
varying
when
inconsistencies, timelines, all of it together, in my opinion, allegedly. They took me
yeah,
there.
you know, Jay, when you meet someone, right? You
Mhm.
meet someone for the first time, you speak, we're talking for the first time, right? You walk away from that person and, you know, you don't blast it out, but you, oh, they're a great person, they got good vibes, whatever. Someone, when they speak, I've never met, don't ever plan on meeting Chris Proudfoot or Katie Proudfoot. I'm looking for the son.
Right.
Okay. I remember when the guy on the phone, this we're talking about the RV, says, "You're looking for him." I go, "I'm not looking for him. I want to know where he was on this day. I'm looking for his stepson. I could care less where he is now. I'm looking for the son." And so, um, but so I was, you know, that guy had worked with him, and everything he told me was everything I've been seeing on the videos, on the panels he's come to like this, the way he speaks, the way he cuts people off, the way he won't allow Katie to speak. And the guy says to me, that's him. He's not changed. He's not being any different. That's him. So you can either be likable based on how you present yourself or you can be unlikable. I don't know Chris other than this case, but he makes himself very unlikable by his behavior, by his words, right?
And that brings me to imagine being a 15-year-old with autism, and sometimes uh, it's hard for them to wrap their head around emotional circumstances like that. There's no not an understanding, and have to live with that and be half that person's size and under that person's power allegedly in their own home.
Yeah, no, I can't.
That
I
imagine the anxiety.
I can't. Yeah, that and what you just say there is, you know, list of the reasons I'm doing what I'm doing, and Silver's two and I are doing what we're doing. That is one of them. You know, I just have a
It
thing in
hurts.
me about right and wrong, and you know, if I ever see, and it's not been that much, but Silver's two can tell you, if I ever am witness to something wrong, I try to right it right then. You know, not aggressively, just hey, you know, hold on a second, what are we doing here? You know, this person was before this person or whatever, you know, simple things like that in public places. But, you know, hey, don't let this person step in front of you. You were here first, and just helping people. That's all it's about, is helping people.
Hmm.
And when I talk about helping people, you're helping, other creators are helping, your chat's helping, we're helping, Seth is helping, Tony is helping, Dog is helping, Nick is helping, Betty is helping. Katie's not, Chris is not. And I said, I'm saying they're not.
How do you understand that though? It's hard to
I,
comprehend.
I can't understand it because I have a daughter, I have a son-in-law, and I have two grandkids. We
Hmm.
have that. And as I'm talking to my daughter about this, I say to her, the day hopefully never happens. Hopefully never happens. But if I ever receive a phone call that one of those boys are missing, that they allegedly walked out of the home, they don't have to worry about the police. They don't have to worry about me. Okay? Because before I can move forward, they need to be looking me in the eye, giving me accountability where they were every second, so I can, in my mind, rule them out that they harmed their son. Right? And
Absolutely.
once we get there, I can move forward as long as I need to, like Seth said, one continuous days trying to find my family members. So to not
Takes
see
me back
that,
to the house. I can't leave the house, you know? Do you
oh,
know
I
what I
can't
mean
do
when I
this.
say that?
I I can't search. I can't do this. I can't let me answer all of your questions. Oh, I can't answer that one though because I was told not to. I mean,
Okay, so pause there for a second. That's a point I wanted to make with you. If we are talking about a runaway, which they were, why would Stepfoot's whereabouts in February have anything to do with it? Why would they say, don't tell your whereabouts? They didn't say it to Seth, and it's a runaway. Why would his whereabouts matter?
that's exactly right. You're hitting the nail
Damn
on the
it.
head. And it's one of these things where yeah, focus on finding Sebastian because if you go down that road of all this and highlight these things, it can become very frustrating. You know,
Hmm.
I got very frustrated when I discovered, I didn't know this, and I don't want to misspeak of what Seth spoke, but from my understanding, when he made it to the home and then he went looking himself because he didn't know what was going on, but he comes back to the home, right, that morning, and the next thing you know, he's going to his home for it to be searched.
Yeah, that story's concerning.
Now, for me, for everyone listening, what would I have done? Here's the keys to my home. If you feel like you need to go there, go. But the boy, my son, went missing from where I'm standing. This is the scene. And
Yeah.
I need to know where he is.
And then for them
Right?
to say to him, don't come back tonight, you can come back tomorrow.
Oh, come on.
I know.
You know, I mean, so yeah, so to get back to how we were talking with so that was how I was introduced to one coworker who currently and on the day Sebastian went missing was working with Chris Proudfoot, right?
Mhm.
He was there. He's confirmed the time he was there, different things. He was there, removed from the crane in 11. So that led to someone emailing me who had worked with Chris in the past 3 years ago. Okay. And in both of these guys, great guys, I've spoken to them a couple of different times on the phone. And so the second gentleman who worked with him 3 years ago still speaks to people who work with him now. Specifically, I believe it's 2 guys. And so they will occasionally tell him things, right? Something that pops up, something about the day, whatever. And that's when he said it wasn't a big bombshell. We were just speaking. And he says, I don't know if you know, Chris, he said, Michael, if you had that's my name, Michael, by the way, if you want to call him Michael, if you had a 4-day weekend, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, would you go see your wife? I go, absolutely. I'd go see her every weekend regardless, right? But 4-day, as soon as I got off Wednesday night or Thursday morning, ever how he works, boom, I'd be 240 miles. By the way, it's a 3-hour drive. Let me make this clear. That's a 3-hour drive. Let's do the crystal clear here, right? It's a 3-hour
Door to
drive.
door.
Okay, door to door.
Door to door.
It's a yeah. I don't know where this 337 came from, but I guess it depends on how you drive, right? You could probably pull it off in 2.5 if you were hauling it. But
Well,
anyway,
I don't know the year of my truck, allegedly.
right. And so this guy he just nonchalantly says he had a 4-day weekend. And I go, whoa, what did you just say? Yeah, that weekend that Sebastian went missing, he was there 4 days. This is allegedly in his opinion. Once again, I'm taking what someone told me as I reported it on the video. And so I was contacted, as you were, by the team working, with Dog, and to corroborate the 4-day. All I can do is give you the contact information to the person who shared it with me. Now, speaking with Betty this past Wednesday, she asked me about the 4-day weekend as well. And it jarred something in me that really, Silver's tooth could tell you, made me go, wow. Because that's been a few weeks ago. And I just realized I have a contact to someone who's currently still working on the job site. So I made a phone call, literally. And Car Guy doesn't know this. I don't think I mentioned it to him. But between us leaving the breakfast to the search, I made the phone call. He picked up, how'd you get my number? And I go, I don't know. You called me. Because I never called him originally. Remember the guy at the RV place called him. I never had his number. But he called me back after I posted my video about what he had told me. And we talked about that, and he was happy I didn't use his name, as I won't use anyone's name if they don't want me to. And so, and so for people who go, oh, you talk to, you just have to live with it, right? I mean, I'm not going to get out here and say I spoke to someone if I don't. And so the second guy doesn't care if I use his name or not. I'm still not going to use it, but he's okay with me broadcast his name. But so I called the first gentleman who's still on the job site, and I said, hey, I know we're approaching 9 months in a few days, and that's a long time ago. But can you confirm with me, was Chris did he have a 4-day weekend, the weekend Sebastian went missing? And his answer was this. He had to thinking about it. He's thinking, and he could not confirm it. He could not over the phone call. He could not confirm it. He says, I don't know. He could have, he couldn't have. There's nothing that I can remember that tells me yes or no. And he said to me that they were having some kind of function or doing something. I don't really remember what he said they were doing, but he was going to go to a particular person and ask them. Maybe he forgot. Maybe it slipped his mind. That was on Wednesday, and I haven't heard back from him. I was hoping that I would receive a call or even a text message that said yes. That way, be a couple of people saying the same thing. But I know that's a question mark. But here's the point of all of this, right? You just said it a minute ago. If he walked out of the home, you had nothing to do with him. He walked out on his own for his own reasons. Chris, Katie, where does it matter where you were or what you were doing? Does that not make sense to you two?
And why is he the only one that's not allowed to say where he was?
Right.
Seth's not saying, well, I'm not allowed to talk and say Thursday was the last time I saw Sebastian. It doesn't make sense.
No, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make any sense. And it goes back to a simple philosophy that is easy. It's easy. 1, 2, 3. 2 plus 2 is 4, not 5, Chris. 2 plus 2 is 4.
Mm-hmm.
If you have nothing to hide, why are you hiding something? It's that simple. It's just that simple.
It's crystal
I don't want
clear.
to do what? I'm sorry.
It's crystal clear.
It's crystal clear. There you go. It's crystal clear.
Well, let me take you back. I know that you were at the Texas Roadhouse yesterday.
I was.
And you put out a video about your experience there and trying to raise awareness to Sebastian. Can you share that with the audience who have not yet seen the video? And by the way, be sure you go over to Silver's and sub to him and watch his videos. Great channel. Go ahead.
Thank you for that. I really appreciate it. If I had that little emoji, it's got the little embarrassed, the red cheeks.
Yes.
I'll send it to you now. That made me feel that way. Thank you.
I watch.
Yeah, I know you do. Thank you so much. And we've been watching you for probably since you started to or whatever with Sebastian. So you're doing really well. Thank you.
Thank you.
So very tired. I mean, like I said earlier, I think I'm young in the heart and the mind, but the body sometimes disagrees. So I was extremely tired, actually, really. And but going to go have dinner, and said, hey, if I'm gonna have dinner in this town, something I never thought of, let me go have dinner at the Roadhouse, right? And so got there. We were with some friends, and we sat down, and we had while we were searching yesterday, the Knicks post of I think it's $500 to $5,000 for information, a photo, a video of that night. Hey, I can go and say, hey, look, I took this with my phone. I don't know why I did, but I've had it on my phone, and here's who was sitting with that boy and his mom, that night, right? And so they're willing to pay for that information. So had that not happened, I don't know if I would maybe have asked for the wage. I may still have, with a normal flyer. Because I would love to speak to the waitress myself who waited on Katie and Sebastian that we know were there.
Mm-hmm.
So with that recent thing that had happened hours, this is 3 or 4 hours prior,
Mm-hmm.
wasn't sure how many of the people there would know about it, right? Who worked there. And
right.
So we started, I'll tell you exactly how everything went because once again, when you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to hide, right? So, I believe it was the second time our waiter approached our table, maybe when he brought her drinks or something. I shared the flyer with him and said, hey, I don't know if you're aware. Or I asked him if he was there. I did ask him, and he said, I was here. I was back in the kitchen, though.
Mm-hmm.
I said, okay, great. And I said, well, here, I don't know if the waiter or waitress, because I'm not sure. I think it's a waitress. I'm not 100% sure. I think it was a waitress who waited on them. But if she's here or he's here, can you, just share this with your co-waiters? And there's money here, not only to help you, but to give us more information on finding this missing child. And he says, okay, sure. And he took it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I don't know, he came back to the table probably over the course of the meal 12 different times or whatever. And at one of those times, I'd ask him, hey, did anybody say anything? Is there any feedback? No, but I shared it or whatever, and so, okay. And that was it. And so Towards the end of our meal, I had noticed, and we had noticed a waitress that, some people just put off a good vibe, like very, caring. And so I shared that same, I had another copy and I shared it and in the process of telling her about it, that's when the manager approached. And the waitress went on, manager took the flyer. And, if you asked me how it would have been handled, I would have probably, in that situation, if I would have been the manager, said, "Hey, um, appreciate you looking for this boy. We all understand we're here in the town, and we feel saddened, and we want him to be found. I'm the manager here, and if you could just approach me with these things and let me share them with my staff, that would be greatly appreciated. And thank you for your business tonight, and I hope your meal was great."
That's what I
That's
was
how I
thinking. Why didn't he just say, "We're busy. I don't want my employees pulled aside, but if you have any questions, what can I do for you?"
And so, yeah, exactly. So I'm sitting where I'm literally, right there with the manager, and I haven't even revealed the gender, and there's really no reason to, of the manager, but just it's just because I just wanted to get the point out there. But
Right.
what they said to us was, "I don't need you harassing." I think it was more instead of stop harassing. "I don't need you harassing our wait staff."
Wow.
And pretty much at that point, my brain kind of shut down because I'll just say I'm 54 years old, and I don't know if I've ever had anybody say I've ever harassed them in my life. And so to use that word to me, it really shook me.
Mm,
And I'm like, harass? And so then they go on to say, we are a place of business. We are, what's the word? We're compassionate about what's going on, and we're glad you guys are helping. That we are a place of business, and that. And then we were like, "Okay, thank you." And I kind of bit my tongue because of the harass comment. And
mhm.
though they went away, and then we just kind of discussed it amongst ourselves. And within probably 10 minutes or so, one of the party with us is the couple that was with us. One was like, I need something. They needed something, right, that we didn't get from dinner or something. And that manager was called back over and discussed what we didn't get. And then the manager discussed it again or brought it up again about how they were, felt good that we were doing that, but place a bit. And so this is the point I want to say that I didn't say in my video because I just focused on the harassing part.
Mhm.
I felt like that manager realized they had misspoken. I think they realized in that 10-minute gap they had misspoken and could have probably chose their words, maybe not use the word harass, because I felt like there was an overcompensation, a greater cordial, being more cordial on that second time, and kind of letting us know that they really appreciate it. And at that point is when I said, "Well, I hope no one here, you know what I mean, or anyone," I didn't specifically say them, "ever loses a child or a child goes missing," because unfortunately sometimes it takes that for someone to get involved. But that was kind of it. We just kind of finished the dinner and went on, and so as Silver's 2 and I were driving back to our hotel, I just kind of started thinking about it more and more, and we probably said the word harass 10 different times. And I was just felt compelled, like I do these videos, to say, "Look, I'm not trying to shut the place down or keep people from going there." But my point was very simple. After I've spent 4.5 hours out looking for Sebastian, after I became a customer of this place, all I was trying to do was really two things: bring awareness to Sebastian,
Mhm.
even more than what they already know, and asking if anyone knew anything that could help us lead to finding him. And in the process, if you have that information, especially if you have it digitally, a photo, a video, you could receive compensation for it. Because I don't know how much of that wait staff was already on duty when that post came out. So it was a combination of, what can we do to help find Sebastian? Does anyone know? This could help you guys too. And so I think that's why I put in the video, when does asking become harassing?
Yes.
And so I just felt like, not that the Texas Roadhouse in Hendersonville, Tennessee represents all of Sumner County or all of Hendersonville, But that being a scene, that being a place where we know
Yeah.
something
The
happened,
Last Supper.
the Last Supper, and it comes back to just the way it was spoken. It showed me a lack of concern for this boy you have on the screen now, for Sebastian Rogers. It just showed that. And it just kind of resonated through, like, because I did a video just a couple of weeks ago where I was saying, hey, there's 12 homes around the Proudfoot home. There's people who were in the restaurant that night. When are you people going to stand up and speak up? And I think I said in my video last night that it appears to me it's going to take an outsider, someone who doesn't live here. Okay, I say here, I'm not there now. I'm actually in Memphis, if anybody wants to know where I'm at. But so who is it going to take to get answers? Because you would think, and I'm not bashing any local. Please don't get me wrong here. I'm not doing that. But he's your resident. Okay, he's your village, right? As Seth said, he's in your village. One of your own is gone.
Well, and
When are you going to stand up, not be afraid of these proud feet, and say something and do something? And that's the message I'm trying to bring about. Because listen, I come to that town. I will be back in that town. I will continue searching for Sebastian. And if you need to come talk to me, if you're a Proudfoot or anyone else, I'll welcome it. It's not confrontational. I don't believe in violence.
It's informational.
It's information. I've asked for Katie, I've asked for Chris on at least 3 separate videos. Not to say they watch. I don't know if they do or not. But if anyone's watching, I would love to sit down and discuss this in a very nice and cordial manner, regardless of what my thoughts are that they may or may not have done to their stepson and son. But no one wants to speak. Like you said earlier, silence.
Well, and
Sometimes
also,
silence is.
I called the sheriff and I got him the other day, and I put out a video on that, and my heart broke after that because I was looking, I know he's not going to give me investigative information, but I just wanted him to tell me they're involved, they're searching, anything, right?
Right.
And I got, really nothing. Like, not, we care so much about Sebastian. And I said, I'm sorry, but I checked your page. I checked the Sumner County page. There's nothing. So I'm looking, is there anything you can tell us, on your end? Anything, about Sebastian? And there wasn't, we're never giving up on, none of it.
Yeah,
Man,
that's
the thing this department's going to say is it is an ongoing and active investigation. And it was a flatline voice, allegedly, in my opinion. And it left me brokenhearted.
I'm sure it did. And I remember when you reported, I was listening to your video and the thing that struck out to me is you noticed the tone change. You noticed the difference, if you will. You know what I mean? It's almost like if I'm having a great day and I grab the phone, I don't see who's calling. Hey, how you doing? How's it going? And then it's someone I don't want to speak to.
Yeah, and you're like,
and my whole,
hey.
oh, hey, how are you? And what can I do for you? And, stuff like that. I think I'd said in a video myself one time, I was now this is very close to the Roadhouse because we had been at Mary's Magical Place searching. And I believe I got my coordinates right, the Roadhouse, a Starbucks in front, and across from the Starbucks is like a gas station. And I went in to use the restroom. And when I did, I think it was there when I came out. It was a Hendersonville police. I don't think it was Sumner County, Hendersonville police. It was a truck. And it didn't look like a normal police vehicle or whatever. So I remember when I came back out, I stood there and I remember seeing the guy. He came back and he got in his truck and he left. And I didn't, but I was tempted just to say, hey, can you tell me what's going on? Like, very much what you did, but in person to see kind of a reaction, right? What kind of reaction I would get. And not to tell who or said this or anything, but I've heard reports been told directly to me that, in searching and trying to get the Sumner County to look at what they're doing or maybe something they found, that it's just been like, you need to contact whatever city they're in, that police department, right? And I'm like,
oh, really?
okay.
They're rerouting them?
I mean, yeah, just like, just, hey, you need to, you're in this city, so call that police department. Well, you're part of this too, right? I mean, there's county, and
And
there's
why
city.
are
And
they on
so,
tip line number? Why is their number on there?
well, there you go. So, and it comes back to what I've said. A couple things I'll say. If you don't have anything to hide, there's no reason to hide anything. And I've told Silvers too over and over again. And I do it mainly when I'm about to step out of the car, because for the most part, she'll watch the car, because you never know who's watching you.
Mhm.
And I like to say thank you to all the I call them compliments, as well as comments that say stay safe and keep eyes in the back of your head and stuff like that. But I always say to her, what we are doing, and this is for everyone who's doing it, saying his name, posting his flyer physically, posting it on social media, going out and searching, doing a video that does anything, says anything about what's going on, raising awareness. When you do this, in my opinion, the way I live my life, you're doing something pure of heart. You're doing something good for everyone.
Mhm.
And a person who's doing that in pure actions and pure heart of moving forward in that direction is almost protected, if you will. It's almost watched over, like, how can, I don't believe bad finds good. Bad finds bad and good finds good, if you will. And so if you're out there doing that, if you're doing that good, how can that find you? And so that's kind of the philosophy we go into this. And I'll knock on wood here from a hotel room. Let me knock on wood. Is A lot of people comment on snakes. I don't even like saying it. I can't. The worst thing I can. Spider and snakes are the same, but I'll knock on wood that through all these searches, and I know they've been around, but they've had to be closed. Especially when I get on the ground and I'm trying to look in something. Like yesterday was a lot of that. I'm down and I'm looking in this little crevice that he may have crawled in or whatever, and I have this vision of the snake coming out, at me. But fortunately, I have not seen one. I've seen a lot of spiders. So I think that validates my point.
Mhm.
Good is good. We're
Right.
not going into these woods. We're not going behind these businesses or walking down the road or wherever we're going. We're not. When I was calling RV places, right, ladies and gentlemen, I don't care who's there. I don't want to know who's there. If people have a right to that. But we've got a guy that is very suspicious in the disappearance of his stepson. Where was he on the 25th of February this year, Sunday the 25th? Okay. Because he's not telling us. And why is he not telling us?
And why does it matter where he was February 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th? Why does that matter if he
Exactly.
ran away?
Why does this matter? So there was a creator who was interviewing. He did his rounds, right? He did his rounds, right?
Mhm.
Okay. I'm going to say something here, allegedly, in my opinion. If you watch these detectives, especially the first 48 hours, they'll stand at a crime scene if it's public, and they'll say, "Look at the crowd. Look at the crowd. Notice anything suspicious in the crowd?" Because some of these perpetrators like to come back and witness what they've done. Now, I'm not accusing anyone here. This is my opinion. But when you're sticking yourself into this as heavily as this person was in the first months of this whole thing, calling in this person and calling in pretending to be other people, right? So when you're doing all this, it raises suspicion, right? But you're absolutely right. Okay. What does it matter when you're there? So I heard him on a creator one time, and they were discussing the whole belt incident. We all know the belt incident. We all know about the CPS and different things. And they were clarifying that what was being stated, if I remember correctly, is the belt incident didn't lead that CPS to come to the dinner that night. It was a different incident that Sebastian had gone allegedly into school and said that Chris had done something to him. So then that led that CPS person to come. This had nothing to do with the belt. So once they cleared that up, the creator, and I'll give her credit, right? She knows who she is. I think she's in the chat. So you mind if I say her name? Because she does a great job. Smiley, she does really good work. Thank you. She says to him,
Hi, Smiley.
"Hi,
She is here.
Smiley." She says to him, "Chris, what did he say you did to him?" or what did he report? And I can almost maybe quote this. What does the price of eggs in China have to do with finding some? Okay, hold on a second. Just hold on. Stop right here. Put the hand up. This is you changing the narrative, going away from everything, working all these different things, and then coming back like you. So it was a great question. She nailed it. He did not answer it because, in my opinion, it has a lot to do why Sebastian's missing. So let's not talk about it. Let's not talk about anything that's going to point back at my direction. Let's not tell where I was. Let's not tell when I came home. Let's talk about my job's up in the air, first 5 minutes of Nancy Grace, and 19 minutes later talk about I'm back at work. What'd you do? Did you get a phone call during this interview? Did your boss see this interview?
Also about the time frame, his answer to her, he started one way and went, and it was very confusing. It was like he was trying to confuse her.
Exactly. Exactly. And so it's real simple. I do need the Proudfoots to help me find their son. I mean, I think they have a lot of information that can point us in the right direction, but we're going to go find him regardless. Okay. So we're going to do that because you're not doing it. And so, but my point with them, if I had anything to say, if I had 5 minutes, it's real simple. Why are you hiding things? Stop with the police stuff. That's BS. I mean, come on. There's a child missing.
Right.
I'm not saying I should be able to go knock down anyone's door and go into their home or stop a guy on the street and say, I need to search your trunk. We're getting crazy there. What I'm saying is, though, when you say there is a child missing, here's his photo, and no one wants to help, they don't want to help. I think trafficking was brought up at that thing too. I think the manager may have mentioned trafficking, something about child trafficking, and I'm going,
who mentioned it?
I think it was that manager mentioned, because that second time to the table and how they were more cordial. I was like, I spoke up about, I hope no one's, sometimes it takes for someone to experience what, the family's going through for them to get involved when they shouldn't have to. You don't want to use the if, right? You don't want to say, hey, Jay, if your child went missing, maybe you'd be more compassionate, right? Because we don't want to portray that onto anybody. But I was trying to get her to understand that, we're just trying to help here. And I say she, she says something along the lines of, with the child trafficking thing going on, or something about trafficking coming up. And at that point, I just, because I don't see that as anything's a possibility, but but here's my point with, and look, I didn't want this to be about speaking out to the Proudfoots, but since it's live and who knows who could be listening, maybe they're listening too.
Right.
The point is this: I'm not here to combat you. I'm not here to accuse you. I'm only going off what you're giving us. And in my opinion, you're not giving us, if you love this boy the way you say you do, there's more you could be doing. These people, I wouldn't be putting up, don't drive by my house. I'd be saying, come to my house. Come to my house. I got 50 different places. I told this to car guy 1 and 2 yesterday. We stood there before we started walking. And I said, man, if we had 100 people, I could put each one of them in a spot. But it's just us 3. So let's go. Right. And so, and it's just, like I said earlier when we were discussing, I don't care where the Proudfoots are. It's none of my business, right? What they're doing. But I would like for them to help in some form or fashion. I used to say, when I would ask for an interview, I'd say, look, I think you've done something. In my opinion, I think, prove me wrong. Right?
Right.
Show me I'm wrong. Show me I'm wrong, right? Like I go back to my daughter and son-in-law. If one of their kids went missing, show me what you've done. Show me you could have not done this. Because I'm not going to take off if I have any doubt you were involved, right? Because it's you with the answer. You're the answer. This is what happened. And the reverse of that is true. Because I made that statement to my daughter. If I was keeping my grandson and he got gone from my home in the middle of the night before I would do all in my power, looking her in the eyes, telling her we had nothing to do with it, right? We had nothing to do with it. Here's every second where I've been and what I was doing these last 12 hours, you know, tell me you believe me that so we can go find it, right? Because I don't want in the back of my head you doubting me that I've done something. And so, but I'm not getting that. I'm not sensing that with these two particular people.
Well, do you recall they've been quite silent? And when CP Stepfoot went on another channel just to say it was after Dog and all them came in, and they were saying stuff, and CP came on and said, okay, we can everyone, let's just quit the hate. And he said, yes, other people can cover Sebastian, just do it in a positive way. And he said, I know you have questions, but we're not ready to answer them right now. And that made no sense. There's a child's life at stake.
That's
right? What are you waiting for?
This is something that when you say that about the child's life at stake, it's so people have asked me, they ask me, what do you think he's with us? Is it rescue? Is it recovery? Those terms they use.
Right.
I hate to state this, and I hate to state it for Seth Rogers. I hate to state it, but everything in me says he isn't with us, and I hope I'm wrong. I got to say that it's just my opinion. It's where I'm at on it, and I hope I'm wrong. But if he is with us, and that's the point I want to make, if he is, and I believe Seth has mentioned it, if he is, then whoever has him, wherever he may be, we don't know what the state is. Is he a day away from not being with us anymore? Is someone who has him nervous with all the attention now that this was, go through the theory of we're going to hide him for whatever the reasons are. Okay. This is just a theory. Everybody know this, right? Legend. I'm just going, no fact. We're going to hide him for whatever reason. Just opinion. We're going to hide him for whatever reason. And whoever that is who's holding him, $200,000 isn't enough for them to come forward. They're fearful of whomever, whatever the reasons are, right?
Mm-hmm.
And how many days or months does it take before they go, I'm not going to jail for this? And they make a rash decision that ends his life when we could have saved him. And so that's how important it is. That's how important. If you were at the Roadhouse on the 25th and you saw something, if you were in the neighborhood that night, whatever it is, whatever you may, I mean, this whole Speedway thing, right? That how great is it that someone stepped up and said, hey, I believe I saw this man and I believe I saw that boy at this time at this location. Okay? I mean, as a police officer, I've never been one. I don't plan to ever be one. But I would be like, boom, take off. I need to see this footage.
Mm-hmm.
And, I believe it's the recent creator who's showing the cameras and stuff did a great video.
She's in our chat right now.
Okay, so I think it's Julie, right? So, hey, Julie, yes. I think you're doing great work. I like watching the way she speaks too. But I watched her video last night about, I think it was last night or the night before, one about what we're talking about, the Speedway, that this tape erases after 30 days. JLR went out there. It was already past the 30 days, so there's nothing to show, but was told there was no police that it came to see it. So how are you saying you saw it to the biological father when there was nothing to see? It's just little things like this that make you go, what is going on here, right? Mm-hmm. And so then I have my experience at the Roadhouse, which is very minor, you know what I mean? But it's harassing.
It's still telling. It's very telling.
It's very telling of the theme of this, remember the, what was it called? The Truman Show, right? Jim Carrey, and they're in a bubble, right? They're in a bubble being controlled, right? Everything's controlled. Mm-hmm. I mean, do we have a bubble over Hendersonville, Tennessee? Do we have a bubble over Sumner County? I mean, you want to talk about how the judge allegedly doesn't like outsiders coming in. Well, it's going to take outsiders, I believe, to find this boy who has lost under your watch. This village, you lost this kid.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he's gone from your charge, if you will. There are 12 homes, 12 that when they back out of their driveway, or they pull out of their driveway, they're seeing a missing kid's face, okay? Some directly across the street, some right beside. The ones in the cul-de-sac are driving by it every day too. Now, I'm
Yeah,
not sitting here
you have
saying
to
they're not doing
write it
anything,
out, right?
right? I'm not
Mhm.
saying they're not doing it. They could be ready to go to the police tomorrow morning. I don't know what they're doing, and you don't have to tell me what you're doing. But if you've seen something, if you feel something, if you think something, don't let those two at 1008 Stafford Court hold you back because they're not helping us. So I'm asking anybody in this town, if you know something, say something. Do it for the reward. Do it for something. Do it out of the kindness of your heart. Because most of those homes, from what I understand, have children themselves.
Well, yes, and the thing of it is I think a lot of them are fearful because the alleged, in our opinion, the personality that we see that people have explained he has and we've seen it. I just think that they're fearful.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree with that. I don't. I mean, I don't want to give that person any credit at all, but
Mhm.
with dog stepping in and some of the reports we've heard, I think it was more on a phone call, you'll never find him, those kind of statements like that, from what I understand, alleged was spoken. I mean,
Mhm.
what kind of, I mean, you have to be careful sometimes when you know something. You got to be careful sometimes that you don't want your ego getting in the way, or just I know more than you, and you say the wrong thing, which I've been waiting to happen for 9 months, and it hasn't for some reason. But you go back to the sighting over in, I think it was North Carolina, right?
Mhm.
That looks so much like
Oh
Sebastian.
my gosh, yes.
And I remember, and people can correct me if I'm wrong, but the three main people, because you have a mom and you have a dad that produced Sebastian, and then you have a stepdad that's been in his life, what, 7 or 8 years.
Mhm.
But both, Seth immediately, I believe, thought it could be him. The way it looked, the manner. I believe Katie said even that could be him. And then you had the other one, the stepdad, immediately saying no, like immediately saying
Right.
no, that's
It's
not
not
him.
him. Right.
So my first thought, this is my opinion, you say no that quick, one of two things are going on. You know it's him because you've given him to somebody to move him out of state, and you don't want people going after because you know it's him. Or you know it's not him because you know what you've done with him, allegedly, in my opinion, right?
Right.
So, and I believe later, within a day or two, he did come back and kind of went along with Katie's narrative of that could be him. But it was too late. You already spoke it, right?
You'd already seen the public response.
Yeah, and you see the public response,
Right.
which has happened a lot with flashlight and all these different things, and all that
Right.
and stuff like
The
that. And
thud, then it started to after the thud and the public response, he spoke, remember? So I think they just add as in my opinion, allegedly add little pieces after there's like outcry about something that's been said.
I
Allegedly,
agree
in
with.
my opinion.
No, I agree. I agree. I
Uh,
started saying the disclaimer on the wall, right? So, it's unfortunate you have to do that with in the case, the court thing and things going on. I mean, someone who's never spoke to them, seen them, been around them, never got
Right.
onto their property and all this. But so and once you meet her, if you get a chance to meet her, she's great. She's
Oh,
she's so good.
I would love to. I would love
She's,
to.
you know, so Betty's great. She's just a ball of energy and just fun. And what's great is when uh, I was speaking to someone recently who was talking about speaking with someone who I think was an ex cop, and how they can be kind of flat, this focused. They're serious about their job. No really jokes or no really lighthearted. You don't get that with her. She's very lighthearted. She's very like I said in my videos. I don't try to be all gloom and doom when I'm out there looking, right. Try to mention a Bigfoot reference, or oh, and when I fall, that's just, believe me, that none of that is none of that is for show. I mean, that one was
You were
yeah.
rolling.
I was like I was sliding yesterday when that one happened. But sliding into home plate, and I think I was out too. So, but just try to keep some light humor. One of the things I'll say, you know, is what you're doing, what other creators are doing, what your chat is doing, what I think it's up to millions of people are doing throughout the world for this child, Sebastian Rogers. It's out of our heart. We know something's wrong. He could be in pain somewhere. That's why we need to get him home. And I would, like I say, I'll go back to the one search I did. You can go find it. It was over in Memphis.
Mm-hmm.
And regardless of how I got there, like I said, you follow every lead. If you knew how it was presented to me, I had a weight of responsibility on my shoulders that I could not look away. And I was and I kept it very quiet. I didn't really speak to anyone other than my wife because I was so on edge. Just to give you a little example without getting into the details, I was so on edge that I had spoke to someone right there on the scene, gave the flyer, got them involved, and they went looking for something. And then I was calling his name out. I had never gone out looking for him to call his name out. And I was saying that, I know your dad, Seth. I mean, anything I could because there was a strong possibility he was in this area. And even after whatever it was, 7 or 8 months. And so I had my back to the area where I'd be calling, and the guy I'd spoken to like 20 minutes ago he came out of nowhere and he said something to me, and I almost came out of my skin because I thought this boy, Sebastian Rogers, had heard me and he come out from where I was looking,
Mm-hmm.
and it was just, so that was the most hopeful from an alive standpoint I've ever been, and
Mm-hmm.
it unfortunately turned into not being the case, and whether he was ever in that situation in there and not there anymore, who knows? But it's that hope that I want to give to Seth that he could still be out there. I mean, what do we know, right? We're all in our opinions. There's no facts,
Right.
you
Until
know.
they show differently, right? There's hope.
Well, I've said that too about the statements that have been given to us by the people in the home, the ones that were with him in his last moments. I mean, should they be saying allegedly in their opinion? Are they really giving us facts? I mean, we don't know that, right? I mean, so
Well,
and
my
hiding
question is,
information.
go ahead.
I'm sorry,
My
what?
question is, Silvers, how could allegedly they be facts when they're not consistent?
Right.
Which one is the
Absolutely.
fact if there's a fact in
Absolutely.
there? And I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead.
No, 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 no. Oh, so I just want to say, so I know you had, if you have the questions, because I wanted to come on here, like I said earlier, never been on a live. It went very smoothly. Jay
You
made it
did
very
great.
smooth.
You're amazing. You did great.
Well, thank you so much. And so I had said to you, this is your show. I'm coming here open. I can talk about whatever you want. Like I
Mhm.
said, my job and what I do, I'm in sales, and sometimes I'm too transparent, right? I mean, but I'm just that way. So I don't have anything to hide. And so, unlike some others, right? Allegedly.
Right.
So I'm here, and we've done a lot. We've pretty much caught up with the week and where we at. And, so, are there questions? I mean, anything, what people, you know, want to
Yeah,
know
I was
or
looking. I don't see questions. They've been talking to each other a lot. If anyone has a question real quick before Silvers needs to go,
somebody says, I
drop
think I see Ginger Girl has a question or has a question.
She did? Okay, let me look. Ginger girl, will you
Yeah.
put your question in again? Because I'm way behind on the chat right now.
I don't know. I don't know how you do it, Jay. I don't know how any of you creators do this. And this has been my biggest. I'm very. I don't like to ignore people, right? Unless
Right.
you're being rude, right? I don't want to speak to you then. But if people are coming in, they want information. And I guess you could. Here we go. For Silvers, have you looked around, say 15-mile radius? No, I have not. That's a great. See that is Ginger Girl. That is fantastic idea. That is an area when I go there, I've been there twice. Silver's too, and I've been there twice. The first time we went, we may have even gotten gas, and it was kind of. I'll admit I didn't do much. We just went, and we came on through. Kind of, we almost wrote it off like it didn't. That didn't happen. But then I got to think about it more. So our next time we came, I spent a lot of time there, at least a half an hour to an hour. And I was just breaking it down and looking. And so I'll share this if you haven't seen the video. So when you get off this exit, okay, and so we would be coming from Memphis, whereas the other party would be coming from Nashville. So if you're coming from the Nashville, Hendersonville area, and you get off this exit, you immediately have gas stations to your right. So you're under a time crunch, you're out of gas, you can go immediately to your right, and boom, there's a gas station. You can cross the freeway across, and there's a Love station there. I don't know the names of the ones on the other side. There's a Love's. They always have really, cheap gas and quick in and out, but it's populated. Here's the point I'm making. When you cross that freeway and you go past the Love's, you start getting out, and this is what makes Ginger Girl's question very important. You start getting out to where you can stand at that speedway and look back at all the city, congestion, and then turn around where you're standing, and it's like in an open field. It's like an open field of a gas station.
Oh,
Here's
wow.
my point, if it's not being clear. If you did not want to be seen, this would have been the gas station you would have went to.
Oh,
There
wow.
is nothing across the street. There's woods around it. And the only people that would have seen you would have been the ones at the station or the employees. Now, if you're paying with a card, you do it quick and you're on your way. So when I realized that, and I stood there looking at that, because we went and got gas at the Love's, because it's cheaper and everything. And as I was pulling into Love's, I had the video running, go look at all the people. I don't care when you go on the Love's, 3 in the morning, 5 in the morning, it's always crowded. So I say all that to say this. We have not. I looked in the woods right beside the place for 5 minutes. But that is a great question, and it's something we need to look into.
And have we heard, I'm hearing things out there that the footage may not have been checked within the amount of time?
Yeah, so what Julie's in the chat, she can comment. I believe if I understood her video correctly, that they erase the footage every 30 days or it automatically erases. So if this was on the 27th or so, then you know what? No, it was February. Then by March the 26th, 27th, it would be gone. And I believe JLR was there on the 7th of April. So at this time it's gone, which is why they couldn't have shown him if they would have. I don't know if they're like Walmart, right? But they could have shown him. So from what I understand, I'll just sum it up like this, that by the time he got there, the video would have been erased by their system. JLR, April 7th. They told him no law enforcement came to look at anything.
That's
okay.
Heartbreaking.
Okay. Even though this was reported days after the sighting. So you got days after the sighting it's reported. Fast forward to April 7th, which was outside the 30 days it's erased. No one's come according to JLR's reporting and what they told him. But yet they're telling Seth they saw the video and it wasn't him, or it had nothing to do with the case. Well, how did you see it if it was erased?
Right.
So that's where that comes from.
That doesn't make sense, correct?
Right.
And then the next question now, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. I'll see. Is it? So check. I haven't, because I don't know where this is. Where is Columbia?
Home, right? It's a funeral home, and there's a connection allegedly to C. Bowersox. It's her cousin who's the funeral director and embalmer.
Oh, okay. Okay. So is this Columbia? Is it south of Hendersonville or north? I have no idea. I don't even know where it is.
Let me check on my phone. I do not know, but everyone kept asking about the connection, and finally someone sent me a message. He had posted on Facebook early in the search saying, "This is my cousin's step grandson or grandson. Please share this story. He's missing." And then he works there as funeral director, allegedly, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't, and then when we go to, for me, and it's very heartbreaking what I'm about to say here, because it's, you almost say, like, what can you do?
Right.
If you're, Mississippi, I was just there. It's not far from where I am now. And if the Mississippi River, and if someone goes in there, I mean, we got to hope like a Riley strain, they come out, right? I mean, what do you do? I mean, how do you go in and find that? I'm not qualified for that or know how to do that. And then if there's a concrete, a lot of people allegedly mention concrete. That's probably an
Mhm.
easier way to find if you can get a a warrant to go check a particular place. And then you got cremation, right? And
Mhm.
I had someone email me and they said, "Can you go check this, place similar to what Ginger Girl's asking that
Right.
could have possibly." I don't know how to make that. I mean, I can't go there. I mean, and then so then if I pick up the phone, who do I call? Sumner County, who's going to possibly tell me this is
Mhm.
crazy or it's been checked, or do I call FBI and they say, well, that's local jurisdiction. So these are great questions. I'm not saying they're not. It's just sometimes with these questions, I go, I don't know what to do other
Where
than
to
what I
take
would
from
suggest.
there,
I would
right?
suggest for Ginger Girl to send this to maybe at night or dog and see what they come up with. Once again, this is a tip, and
Mhm.
I don't think they care at all if you send them 5 in a row, 5 days in a row. Keep sending them. Is there's not so anytime I have not searched around that area, and I don't know. I have not searched that Columbia area either. I was not aware of it. So, but
And
this is
just
just the power. This is the power of people coming up with different things. Yeah.
absolutely. Just to answer you, Columbia is 1 hour south, a little southwest of Hendersonville.
South. Okay. So, there you go. Southwest of Hendersonville. What do I think of when you tell me that? I think of this. When somebody I don't believe we can trust tells me to go northwest, I might want to go
Mhm.
southwest. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
The opposite direction. So that could mean something.
Mhm.
Somebody's asking here, Silver, when you drove by the house, did it look like? So the last time we drove by was it was at night, and we're in November now. I think it was October, maybe early. Yeah, it was. It was. I remember because I took a vacation day, so it was around middle of October, and whenever that hearing was. But it did look like someone was there to me. I know Chris's truck was there. It was backed in. He likes to back it in. I've driven. I'm just guessing here. I should have had this prepared, but at least a half a dozen times, 4 to 6 times. All have been daytime except for one, and one of the daytimes, and all Chris has never been there except for 2 occasions. His truck was there one day. I don't remember when that was, but that night it was there, and I thought it was odd because it was I believe, a Wednesday night. And so then like I told you earlier, I woke up the next day after posting my video, finding out that this hearing was going on. I was out searching while this,
Mhm.
and so somebody said, "Oh, of course his truck would be there. He had to go to court that day." So yes, that night they were there because they were in court the next day for the Betty case.
Right. Interesting. Well, let me
And
see.
I did,
Go ahead.
I think I saw Katie once too, right? My video's out there. I don't know if
Oh, in the driveway waiting for a ride
you're,
or something, right?
yes, yes.
Yes.
So that's an interesting one because I believe that's June 20th. I'm pretty sure I can just say that real quick because I
Mhm.
referenced earlier that the first time I ever walked looking for Sebastian was on our anniversary, June 20th. And I remember because I'm like, I could be back to my wife now. We're gonna take her to a nice dinner, but I'm out here
Aw.
walking, and I kept walking, and she understood. That's why I know she's the right one for me, right? So, but so what I did is I had to go to Clarksville, which I didn't know at the time. That's where even that Seth lived. I remember seeing a sign up there off the interstate, and I'm like, wow. And then someone told me, well, that's where Seth lives. But so my point is, I was going on from Nashville to Clarksville. I'm going to go by Stafford Court. I don't know if I was guessing 2 in the afternoon, noon, one, whatever. And so, you know, other than the night we actually drove by, I had the camera out to video the neighborhood. I was just driving by, but I have a dash cam that does front, back, and even interior. And so, you can't see if you're coming down their street. You can't see who's in the driveway unless they're way out to the road. You can't see by the garage doors until you get there, right? Because they're facing the other way. So now you can clearly see them coming back. But so as I get to the mailbox and get to the driveway, I turn to look to see what car may be there, and boom, this female's walking, and you hear my natural reaction on the thing. It's like, that's Katie, right? I mean, that's Katie. It has to be Katie, right? Who else would it be? And so I look at my rear view and I see that she walks out, and at some point she turns around and goes back. And by the time she gets back to the door by the garage, by the garage doors, the person door, this car has pulled in. So as I'm doing the turnaround in the
Wow.
cul-de-sac, the car's pulled in, and She's in the car, I believe, before I get back. You know, she comes back out, gets in the car. If it was her, I can't be 100% because some people thought based on the. So my video is not very clear because I caught it by the back of the cam, right? That was, and so anyway, I come back and I go by the car, and I slow down as I go around, and I have a moment. To where I think, follow the car. I had a moment. I'll admit it.
Mm-hmm.
Follow the car, okay?
Okay.
But I'm stating that for this reason. That's not who I am. I just, it's, you know, I'm not a private detective or a private eye. I wasn't sit there to look. I was just doing a drive-by. I happened to see. So I go on, and then I think they were backing out as I was going around the turn. It's still on my camera. I think they were backing out. And I kind of wonder sometimes maybe just to see where they went. You know, I don't know who it was. If it was a friend, if it was an Uber, I don't know. I think she got in the front seat. So, but so I go to my work. I go to Clarksville. I do my work. I come back and I did another drive by. I went by again. Nothing to see. I think that drive by I filmed the house a little bit. The garage door. Somebody had commented on some boxes outside at the trash. If that had anything to do with new furniture, I remember that. The van was there. No, the van was not there either time. This was back on June 20th. It was another vehicle parked back then. It was an SUV that appeared to have Illinois plates. So, but then when I left the house that time, when I came by, that's when I stopped at Long Hollow at the exit of the neighborhood. And I said, "Okay, Silvers, what do you do now? Well, you got time, you got daylight, you know." So I took a left. And I just started going because when you take the left off Long Hollow, you come to the new neighborhood where the retention pond is. You come to a church and a cemetery. I think it's Beechwood Cemetery or Beach Cemetery. Then you come to his Beach High School, his high school. And then you come to the intersection where we searched yesterday. And so when I got to the intersection, I said, where do I go from here? Right, left, straight. I went straight and boom, right there was this big open field where people play frisbee golf and they walk their dogs. You know, it's the church is there, and so you know, I park my car and I get out and I start walking and just hoping to find. You know, people sometimes ask, "What are you looking for?" Anything, like you said, any items of clothing, anything that you know, anything. So anyway, let's get back to the question. I'm getting off the topic there. So.
Okay, well, it's good to hear the information. There is, K-Mac is asking you in the same video, there was a white door at the trash. I wonder if it is the crawl space for door or an interior door in your video.
Yeah. So what it is they have, I believe they may even be one of those garages, may be two, and then they have, I can't remember. I'm trying to think of it. One garage door may be two spots, and then the other garage door so they could park three cars in. But
So
then, yes, the garage. And then you have what is called a person door. It has a bow on it. It had a bow on it the day I was there. And that's where she came out of and where she was headed back to. So that's the door you would walk out if you didn't want to come out of the home through the garage, right? If you didn't want to lift the garage door, you would come out of that door, which I believe is right near their bedroom. I think it's on that side. And that's the door Chris mentions too when he says, had Sebastian went out that door, it would have alerted us. Remember that? He said it would have alerted us, and he would have been caught on video from the neighbor right next door.
Right.
But no,
right.
it is a door. It may have, I'm not sure if it has a window. I think it maybe have a window on it too. But I don't know if that's what you're referring. I think that's what you're referring to is a full door.
Yes.
And then there was a white box laying on their trash cans that obviously had something big in it. It didn't appear to be a TV box, but some probably piece of furniture that maybe you put together. And so I know somebody was asking, I wonder if that's new furniture for whatever reason. So yeah.
Well, let me see.
I
I think
see
we
does someone verify the poker part? Yeah, that's a great question. That goes back to a 4-day weekend. That goes back to, did that have anything to do with what happened on that Sunday night? Or was it planned before? Or did he walk out? I mean, we don't know, right? I mean, so, but, you know, I put them in that order because of that's the order I think, right? And so that party's very, I don't know. If someone can answer that, that would be great. I think maybe Nick and them may be looking into that as well. So that's
into what?
into this poker party that,
Oh,
Friday
yes.
night,
Yeah.
supposedly there's and I hear a lot about that, of different people being there who were there, who wasn't there. And
And Nick
I don't
put out a
know.
bunch of symbols, and my group here has been having a blast trying to figure out the crack the code. They're good
Yeah,
sleuths.
no, right, right.
They're good sleuths. So
Speaking, yeah, they are. Speaking of the poker party, I'll just mention this because I just read it. I've got a lot of emails I need to get to, but sometimes I'll just preview them. I just don't have a chance to reply because I want to, I've said before in a video, I don't want to just be off the cuff. I put meaning in, because they're coming to me with something, right? Whatever it is, want to look into it. So
right.
someone just emailed over the last day or two about this party, and this is one of those things you never know, right? I mean, to me, it sounds crazy a little bit. I'm not going to say crazy in a bad way, just for me and the way I view the world. But
Mhm.
someone said, I don't know if they were suggesting, or could Sebastian have been a wager at
Yes, I
that
think that
party?
was during my
Oh,
live.
did it? Okay,
I
okay,
think
okay.
so
There you go.
because, um, someone had posted something. It might have been, I don't remember who. Oh, one of Nick's signs. We were trying to go through Nick's signs.
Oh, is that what it was?
And
Okay,
someone
gotcha.
came up with maybe it was a wager.
Yeah, and so you go down that road of that theory of, imagine, you mentioned it earlier. Imagine this kid with
Mm,
whatever may be going on up to this point, and then he's been told, you got to go live with these people because you know
wow,
whatever they say to him, right?
right.
We lost you, and I mean, that's crazy. That's where I come up with the crazy, like, I mean,
Mhm.
I don't know. Something I can't go there in my head because I can't imagine. As a father, I can't
And
imagine.
that's what I said. It's like a movie. If we had said this, they'd say, if we were trying to pitch a movie, they'd say, "Oh no, that's too unbelievable." And
That's
here
it.
it's real.
That's
So,
exactly right. That,
alleged.
and with all the, and I saw a comment earlier, and I want to comment on it because it's so great how you, Jay, and how we're no drama, straight to the point, trying to find out where Sebastian is. Thank you for that. I forget who posted it, but thank you for posting it, because that is what we both do. That's why I'm on this channel. There's others I could be on too because they do the same as what us. You know, we're trying to speak on things, have a discussion, because when you hear something, it might make you think of something. It might make someone wake up tomorrow and ask a question, right, about something that they didn't think of before. The
Right.
Broken Spur Ranch is right there too. Has it been right? Where is that, in Columbia, or the Broken Spur? Is that at the
Let me look it
87?
up. I have a feeling it's right in that area where you were talking about in Hendersonville. Hold on.
Okay.
Let me look.
Oh, is that the barn? Is
Broken
that what that
Spur
is
Ranch.
called? So there is a barn that sits right in the corner. It sits
It's
right
in
up against.
Sumner County, Tennessee.
Is it on Long Hollow Pike? Is that the?
It's on
So what?
Latimer Lane in Hendersonville. It's like a horseback riding. It's a horse riding school in Sumner
Okay.
County, Tennessee.
Okay. So that's very interesting. We somehow found ourselves on Latimer Lane just yesterday, and I made the statement that, I don't know if you remember, but there was a medium or psychic, a sensitive, who had mentioned Latimer Park over in Horn Lake, that was
Mm,
coming to them. And so when we found ourselves on Latimer Lane, now I know a lot about this town, that town. I mean, this town, that maybe sometimes I get somewhere without even having the GPS because I've been around there. But the Latimer, I didn't realize, and I said to my wife, I go, wow, that psychic or medium, she had mentioned Latimer, and people went to that Latimer Park in Horn Lake, weren't able to find anything. But so if this Broken Spur Ranch is on there, I'm not sure if it's been checked or not. I don't know. I'm not
see,
sure.
everyone's thinking, everyone's helping because we want to bring Sebastian Wayne Drake Rogers home.
That's it.
It takes
That's
the
it.
world.
There's nothing on the right or left. It's just simple. Bring him home. And the one thing I will bring up is, there is I'll just say this out open. So if anybody's listening and they can help out, I've contacted the NARC divers to
Hmm.
see if they can go to this pond. There is a pond about 2.4 miles, or it's not about, it is 2.4 miles from Sebastian's home,
Oh,
northwest.
Is that the one
You
you
come.
did a video on and you
I
thought it was
did.
important?
I did. So
Okay.
you take a right out of his neighborhood. I've always go left out of his neighborhood. So this particular day, I went right,
Mhm.
and I'd seen this on another channel. Someone had also emailed me about it, and that creator felt very strongly when she was there. You can
Mm.
pull off. It's real simple. Plenty of parking. Probably 10 cars could park there. And there's this pond surrounded by woods, and it probably belongs to the owner above. And so as I mentioned earlier, so I've already brought it up. This would be the most emotional I ever got searching, trying to
Mhm.
connect with Sebastian. I don't know. It could have been me that day. I don't think there was anything different. It was a Thursday afternoon, but I stood by the pond trying to make a connection. And if I had more courage, I guess you could say, or didn't care about getting bacteria, I would have dove in that pond because. And so I've contacted Narc Divers. We've had a conversation through email. They believe also, or he believes that he never went in it. He sees where it is. He doesn't believe anybody's ever gone in it, and he's working now to figure. You get with the landowner and figure out. And if he's listening or he sees this, I'm willing to make that call to the landowner, but I just need a few questions answered from him before that landowner asks me. Like, I don't know how he goes in, if he goes in with equipment or if he drains it. But if someone said, "Hey, Silvers, name a pond in Hendersonville to drain or look at," it would be this place. It's
Mm.
just so close. It's so close to his house. There's a couple of different things you have to think about. Okay, if Sebastian walked out on this and he was headed to his dad's home, he would go northwest. He would turn right he would follow the roads. Or he may go through the woods. I don't know, but he would go in that direction, and he could have found himself here and at night fallen in, right?
Mhm.
Or the other option is, in my opinion, someone could have taken him there to make it look like he walked in that direction.
Right.
Either way, the pond is, for me, is very. The area as a whole was too. And then I went down the street a little bit where I found the mattress on the side of the road, and
Right.
the cement piece that looked like a shape of a head, and all that was reported to TBI and FBI. I don't know of anything that's come from it, but.
Mhm. Wow.
And then K Mac just said it. I wonder why I would have not had that paint dry. That's the thing that I don't understand. It's a great question, K Mac. Thank you for it. I mean, I think you're
Mhm.
stating it as kind of rhetorical, right? You would think when they picked that up, and I got responses back from both FBI and TBI stating that they received my emails, right? And all my details and photos. Send somebody out. I mean, send somebody out with a piece of equipment to run through that pond. I mean, drain the thing. See? There you go, mystery. There you go. From my understanding, it's never searched, and that
It's
thing
shocking,
is
isn't it?
it is so suspect. I wasn't the one who found it. Another creator did. Gosh, I can't think of her name now. She's great. She's Sherlock, Punk Rock Sherlock.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah,
Yeah.
so she had a very strong, and I had watched her video back when she actually did it, probably before I started any videos. But then I was led to her from an email later, and I said, because these are those things I talk about when I was going to search somewhere else on yesterday, and then post came and led me to where we did. I call it the X, where Long
Mhm.
Hollow Pike meets New Hope. So the same thing happened to me when we left back before I searched that pond. As I think we were leaving Memphis, and I was like, I just don't know if he's here. I think we need to go to Hendersonville more. And so as we're driving home, it's a long drive back to Atlanta. I'm racking my brain, logical thinking, right? If I could go to Hendersonville tomorrow, where am I going to go? And that's when I came up with the theory of Northwest, walking that way, either on his own or possibly taken there. So when we got back there and we were able to go, and it was actually the day of that hearing, so back in October, um, that place, she's not wrong. Whatever, and I've never met her, or spoken to her, or even communicated with her, but Punk Rock, whatever she was feeling, I felt it very strongly, very strongly. Now, I felt a lot at Drake's Creek. Don't get me wrong. I talked about it earlier. It was a more of a peaceful feeling. None of it's bad, but it was very emotional by that pond. And
Hmm.
so I was really good to hear the response I got on the email about they don't believe it's been searched. They have not searched it, and they don't believe it's been searched, and it needs to be searched. They agreed it needs to be searched.
Are you talking about
So
narco drivers or divers?
narc divers, yes, exactly. And so that is, if anyone wants to go out there and just look around and get to see what they feel, but it's I don't know, it probably sits. I always use football field. It probably sits at least 50 yards off the road.
Mm-hmm.
You can pull in there. You can park your car. We were there before we drove down to the other spot, so we were there a good solid hour, maybe longer. No one ever came. I went up the hill a pretty steep ways because I was getting other feelings around the other parts too. But I'm telling you, I came back to the car with Silvers too, and I go, I think I may have said he's in that pond, at first, and I'm like, there's something about this pond. And so if anybody's out there
I
who
wanted to
has any
read a
equipment,
sweet message
I,
from Linda. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I wanted to read a sweet message from Linda. She said, lovely to hear two of the most dedicated members of Sebastian's army discussing the case the way it should be discussed. No circus, no trolls, just empathy and dedication. Thank you both. Thank you, Linda. That's very thoughtful. Appreciate that message.
Linda, thank you so much. And that was the comment that came up earlier, and I missed who did it. Thank you so much. And, sometimes you ask people, what do you want to be remembered by, right? Just, that you were a good person, that you help people. And to read that,
Means a
thank you.
lot.
It means a lot.
I know when I receive, we have a very complimentary chat. They follow up with comments and emails, so complimentary. And I always say to them, thank you so much, because it does mean the world. It never gets old to hear, that what you're doing is reaching people.
Yeah, that's the thing, it's like, I constantly I do it more so, it seems like in the in the emails I reply, and I wish I could do more. You're doing enough. You email me. Okay. So there's energy, right? I'm a big sports fan. Football, Atlanta Falcons. They're my team, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I tell people all the time. I go, look, you don't have to be at the game. Watch them on TV. Send them their energy, right? Because when people are coming together, like Seth says, a village, right? Takes a village to raise, and it's going to take a village to find his son. And so, let's get the entire world looking for him. Those two can sit on the sideline if they want, right? We can't make them do anything, right? So how's it feel with the entire world's watching your son, looking for your son, and you're not doing anything? Yeah, socks, feet, no shoes. Yeah, I mean,
Isn't that a great comment?
yeah, what did Seth say? That was 2 nights ago, right? Was it? Yeah, 2 nights. The first thing I noticed, I look over the door and his shoes are sitting there.
Yes. And
My
then
son is gone, and his shoes
Mhm.
are sitting right here. Okay. Have you ever wondered too that, now I don't know. I mean, this may be nothing, but I've wondered, why is the cell phone being charged on the kitchen table? Why wouldn't that be charged, or not kitchen counter, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Out in the open, why was that there versus, I mean, wouldn't that be in his room?
I asked that question too, and someone said
You did?
they had. Yes, I did, because I thought it was weird. Why were they all on the island? And I thought it was strange, and they said that's where they had him put his electronics at night.
Okay,
When
so
the cutoff time was.
I can understand that based
Mhm.
on what they've said about the electronics and what Seth
Right.
even said couldn't, with the calculator, that it was just to call people or whatever. So I can
And
understand
Maureen
that track.
probably
You know
thinking
what doesn't
it,
track.
right?
Now I've been wanting to say this forever. I don't know if I've ever said this in a video, so I'm gonna say it now.
Oh, thanks.
We all know what open floor plans of a home are, right?
Yes.
So tell me how you walk across from your bedroom to your son's room, and you
Oh.
walk right by the kitchen, but then you make the statement that, well, maybe he's in the kitchen making breakfast. You just walk by the kitchen.
I've caught that too.
And can I ask this? Maybe you know this. I don't know the answer to this. I think I know. Did she ever mention she went into the bathroom looking for him?
Not that I've heard.
I mean, wouldn't that be one, like,
Nor
if you're
whether he took his pills or anything like that.
anything like that? I mean, he went next door to a neighbor to ask for something.
Counting the pills, did he try and hurt himself? Did he take pills? I've never heard of any of that situation.
And one would think too, I think this has been brought up a lot, but I'll just bring it up again. His biological father, wouldn't he maybe have tried to contact him if he was going to leave? Maybe he was leaving to go him, but
Yeah.
he was only called by Chris, and don't be mad.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
We were talking about that on our live. It just doesn't. Don't be mad is what you say when you know you've done something that is going to make someone mad.
That's exactly right.
And so
now
it
there is something that maybe you can answer for me here too. Okay. And before I state it, this is nothing against. I've been right there with Seth the whole time. I can't imagine what he's going through. But there was something that came up in something I was watching the other day after his interview or after his thing, and this is the question I don't know the answer to. So one of the things he was asked is when he got he spoke to Chris and he's on his way, right? That he didn't call anyone because he has a Bluetooth. No one called him, and he didn't call anyone. And on his drive to get to the home, the question is: do we know that? Did Chris tell him Sebastian didn't take his cell phone? Do we know that or not?
Oh, are you talking about the question someone asked? Seth, did you try to call Sebastian?
Yes. Did you try to call? Because you said you didn't call anybody. Was there an attempt to call? There wouldn't have been an attempt to call if he knew he didn't have his phone.
Right.
Chris could have said, "Hey, man," he could have said to Chris, "Did you call his phone?" Well, no, there's no reason to. It's here.
They said
So
he left it at home. Right.
Yeah. So if that was discussed, that eliminates that question altogether.
That's a great question to ask Seth, and I bet. And Seth, I'm sure he's listening. Maybe he'll let one of us know. If you hear, let me know, and I'll do the same, because that's a question that I read in that chat too, and that really resonated with me.
Because I mean, you try to just kind of go through the normal things of. I don't know why he wasn't called by the biological mom, right? I mean, why not call him? He's down the street. He's down in Nashville working. It's his dad. Did he try to contact you? Did anything, right?
Before you alert the police, I would think, yes.
Right.
Before that what didn't go to dad's.
Right.
Or call dad, in my opinion. So.
And yeah, so okay. So what else we got? We have any more questions? Or
I think we're good. Everyone, you've been so amazing. You have been so amazing. Let me see if we'll take one more question. Okay, I'm not sure, Kay Kelly. Does anyone remember what channel CP was on when he said he searched in Alamo?
Oh yeah, hi Kay. She has emailed me. Thank you, guys. I'm glad she's been looking for this. So I don't know the answer to this too, but she mentioned this to me, and so if anyone knows, please help her on this. And this is just a sign of different people. I mean, look, there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of people asking questions, but keep on coming because something's going to click. We're going to put something together, right? Because he's out there somewhere. Hopefully, he's still with us, and he's been taken care of. One of the first things I said to Silvers too, I say, hey, maybe he just found him somebody he wanted to go run off with, and he's been having a great time, right? Living a good life, right? And so, because we hope he's okay. That's the thing. Absolutely. How does he get lured out with? There you go. How does he get lured? See, here's the thing. Okay. Here's the thing. That was a great question. Okay. Because we've saw that. So I've met someone online. I've met someone somewhere, and I'm going to now go meet them. They're going to come pick me up. I'm just going to go stand on the corner of the street. No, I'm going to use my cell phone to text and go, I'm walking out now, right?
I'm outside. Yeah.
Right.
There's one more from Ginger Girl, and then I'll let you go. And my group will stay for about 5 minutes because I want to let you know what we're going to do tomorrow. So Ginger Girl wants to know, for Silvers, Exploring with Nug is a diver and has offered to help search for Sebastian. This is his link. Great.
Okay. How do I get that link there? I mean, is it going to be in your chat? Can you grab that, Jay?
Yeah, it'll be in my chat on live replay.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, so I'll get that. Thank you, Ginger
What?
Girl.
You want
Thank
me to
you.
take a well, if I take a picture of it, I doubt you'll be able to push it and it be active.
Yeah, right. Let me.
Right.
No, you know what? I got it. Let me do that right there. Let me do. That's a good idea.
Exploring with Nug. It's at all you have to do, it
Okay,
says at exploring with Nug,
got it.
question mark,
I got it.
and
Good,
then a
perfect.
question.
Thank you, Ginger Girl. That's great. Thank you, Jay. Yeah, that's
Ginger
great.
Girl, you're
That's
amazing. All the mods, you've done such an amazing job tonight. We're going to talk about tomorrow with Menendez trial. Silver's on the scene. Your first live. You're amazing. You did a fabulous job. So appreciate and honored that you joined us tonight and shared with us your searching. Really, truly appreciate everything you do for Sebastian.
Thank you very much. I couldn't ask for a better compliment. That's fantastic. It was my honor to be here. It was my pleasure. Um, as I said earlier, I've had people, I've had family and friends. Why are you doing it? Because I can. I've been
Hmm.
put in the area to where I can make it happen. Sometimes it becomes tiring, it becomes straining, but like I said, it's pure intentions. It's trying to find what happened to this boy so we can find the boy. That's the thing. Right? I always keep find Sebastian. We got to keep his awareness live, right? Because if he's in a diner in Nebraska and they don't know he's missing, they're not going to
Hmm.
know, right? So we have to keep that out there. So for everyone listening, send those flyers out, get them to family members, spread them, do what you have to do because that's a big thing you do. We'll search, we'll find him, we'll get there, and then we'll the next step, which we don't need to even worry about now until we find him. But so send me an email, silversonthescene@yahoo.com. Thank you, everybody. Thank you for your questions. Jay, thanks for having me.
Thank you,
Um,
Silvers.
and for everybody that's in this chat, what you said, Linda, that great compliment, everyone in here is the same way. We want one thing this beautiful boy here, this 15-year-old Sebastian Rogers, to come home. And
Amen.
whatever I can do for anyone listening, if I haven't done already, please contact me. We're available. And I'm so thankful too, just to say this out, that I've met great people in every area I've been because, when Silver Stu and I leave Memphis tomorrow, we're going back to Atlanta. So I can't get back to the area. But there's a couple of things that need to be done. I'll be contacting some people and I know they'll go do things. And so thank you all for that. And as Seth said, it's going to take a village to find him, but we're here. So whatever we can
Absolutely.
do, just ask.
And
We're here.
please thank Silvers too for us as well. Please.
Absolutely, absolutely. She's, when you thank you for bringing that up because just to give you a little bit of the history, I mean, at one point during this, several months ago, she wasn't understanding completely. And I'll just share this because we're open like this, right? And
Mhm.
we had a very, she saw the passion in me one day. I'll just say it that much. And from that moment forward, her support, I couldn't do it without her support. I just couldn't because, like I said, even back when, on the anniversary, I'm not back to the hotel when, not that we had a set time, but it's like we delayed our dinner, right? But she was understanding because, as she says, we're looking for a child. That's
Yeah.
it. They're our future, right? I mean, this boy could be who knows in the future, right? So let's find him
Hmm.
and do it for the reward, right? Do it for whatever your reasons are.
Whatever
Just
reason gets you to do it,
and
please.
and and I'll say this, and please no one take this as like, I'm not fearful or anything like that. I'm cautious and play it the safe, but if you don't feel like speaking out, much like the guy with Walmart, or much like some of
Hmm.
the comments they don't want to send the tip in because they'll be labeled as loons or crazy, send
Hmm.
them to me. You know,
Yeah.
if there's someone in that neighborhood that wants to meet me and sit down with me and tell me things, share something with me, I'll run with it.
Hmm.
Okay?
Yeah,
I'll
and
run with it.
my community's been amazing about submitting things to me. Please get this immediately there. And it is because they don't have that connection, that comfort. And so it is important, that you continue to do it. And if there's a place you need someone to look, Silver's your guy.
And someone just comment, who is that? Has Silvers ever been threatened for our searches? No, I've
Good,
not. And
good.
so I'll make two statements. One of the answers no, quick no. Second thing, remember I spoke earlier. I don't. There, when you're doing good, it's pure in you. I only know that, right? Because it's me. I know that it's pure. I could care less what anyone says. The reasons they think I'm going out there. It's a pure thing to find Sebastian Rogers and bring him home. And I think that is validated in no threats. Okay. I'm not about violence. I don't want threats. But if someone wants to come to me with something, then I'll address it, regardless of what it is, because, I mean, I was going to go to the hearing, right? And I had a thought of renting a car or
I hear
taking an
you.
Uber,
Yeah.
taking an Uber to the hearing, because some people they've seen my car, but I'm not going to do that because I'm out there for Sebastian. That's it. Okay. And so if you want to reveal yourself to me by coming and stalking me or threatening me or coming to where I'm searching, then that just tells me you're somebody I need to look at. So
Yes, there's
everybody's
one
fine.
more final question for you from Misty Fisher.
Yeah. Okay. So this is a great one, Misty. This is really good. So I saw this video, and it's hindsight 2002, and she's great. We've connected in email. She does a great thing. I've watched a lot of her stuff. I need to watch it again because I'm not seeing what she's seeing. Okay, so this stated car at 1, left, came back at 3. That would be very interesting, but I'm hearing there were 2 circumstances, and the 2 circumstances that I'm hearing is a car at 3 and a trash truck at 5. So that's the 2, because I listened to it 3 times already, and because I want to catch that, but I'm not catching it that way. Have you heard this, Jay? Have you heard this? So hindsight has gone back and replayed the JLR clip where Bobby's talking about the flashlight video.
What I've heard is the trash truck at 5, the other car at 3. But however, there was someone in the neighborhood, I believe they live on Honeysuckle, who ordered an Uber to take them to the airport. So that car was in there as well.
So that could be the one then. That
Could
could
be.
so
That's
yeah,
what I'm wondering. Yes.
that could be that. And so, but since you brought this up, this flashlight video is big, I think.
I think so too.
I think it's the thing that, hopefully can get us in the right direction. So thank you for that, Misty. I may watch that again and see. I'm not picking up. I'm missing the part of the one part. The 2 circumstances for me are the 3M and the trash trucks.
Well, and the thing of it is wait, you just said something about, oh darn, I lost my train of thought. You said something that was really, the flashlights. First of all, for it to be a trash truck, they don't just pick up at Sebastian's house. That lighting would be behind each of the houses, and they don't
Yeah.
drive through the backyards, through the little ditch, and they don't go four-wheeling behind and cutting through yards,
Right.
right? And the other thing is if those flashlights were involved and a trash truck, everyone would have those behind their house. It wouldn't just be the house where the boy who disappeared that night. It
No,
just
that's
it
it.
doesn't.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense. And and the ride through we did at night. Oh, I don't know if I highlighted enough in that video. When you
So
come
dark.
around that corner, that area, I mean, it's dark. So it's simply like this: if you don't have any lighting on your home, it's dark. Okay, your yard's dark, your home's dark, and you may catch some lighting from your neighbor if they have lights on. But when you get behind the homes, that area behind, that is so dark back there.
Yeah.
So if my plan is to bring anything out, whatever it can be, a couch or whatever, and I don't want anybody to see me, that's where I'm going because it is so dark in that area. And so that makes sense. So
But when you
can you
passed
hear
by,
me?
the porch light was on.
Can you still hear me? I think
I can hear you. When you
okay,
passed
good.
by, the porch light was on.
That's correct too. Yes.
And so when there's this law I covered on one of my videos, it's the law of normal. Normal routine can be used in court and it doesn't have to be eyewitness, but they look at that to see, our organizations, groups, persons following their normal routine. So if it's off the night Sebastian goes missing, but it's on glowing like a beacon other nights, what is that? Where does that lead us?
That's just like the floodlight. Remember JLR? It might have even been Dolly that the floodlight was missing.
Yes,
There's
yes.
two flood. Okay, so when you come out that front door, that floodlight's going to automatically catch you, right? So when it turns on, or if the front porch light is on, then you're getting seen from the camera across the street because it's illuminating you. So it's able to pick you up. Whereas if it's dark, as it was that night, you're probably not going to get picked up on that camera. Or if you are being picked up on the camera, much like allegedly he was taking the trash out, his
Right.
own father can't tell if it's him.
It's a form that's moving.
It's a form that's moving. And I
Mhm.
can tell you, in a few months when we get to February, it's going to be darker than it is now. And I've been standing in Hendersonville at 5:15, and it is dark. Well, they didn't leave the roadhouse till what, 6:30 or whatever. So it
Mhm.
was extremely dark that night. So, but yeah, so yeah, a lot of it just goes back to everything we've talked about.
Yeah.
Nothing adds up. Nothing makes sense.
And
And
as little pieces come out, new ones, then it makes you have to backtrack and figure things out again and start in a new beginning, you know?
yep,
So,
exactly.
well, Silvers, thank you so much. I know you've got to work tomorrow. I so appreciate you coming in. I love talking back and forth the case, and not the case because he is a young man. Sebastian's disappearance, and we're going to bring him home. We're going to keep saying his name, as you say, until we do bring him home.
Say his name. Never stop searching.
No.
Keep it out there. Keep that awareness alive. Jay's going to help you any way she can. I know this, or I wouldn't be on this channel tonight. And thank you for having me. Anything you
Thank
need from
you.
me, let me know.
Absolutely. Bye, Silvers. And everyone
Bye
in the
bye.
chat, you've been lovely. Mods, thank you. You did a fabulous job. I want to thank everyone. I didn't want to interrupt, and I want to thank those of you who have become new members. Jen Benners, thank you for gifting the 5 Crime Time Buzz memberships. If you receive one, please thank Jen and welcome to our family. Linda Morrison, that is so very absolute generous of you. And the message is just absolutely lovely. We enjoy having you. I hope you all enjoyed that. Julie Skolnick, thank you so much. I'm going to head over to your channel to watch what you put out. I saw the first one and I want to see the other photos. Thank you for bringing that to light. So appreciate it. You all, that was it was so good hearing where he was searching and how he was doing. He's so good at explaining that to us. Jenny Mount, thank you so much. I really appreciate the words. We're trying so hard to bring him home and stay out of the drama. And welcome to the family. Keep up the chatter. You all, I hope you enjoyed every second of it. Now, I want to tell you tomorrow at 10:30 California time is Eric and Lyle Menendez's. They're going to be on video in front of thank you, Ginger Girl, in front of the judge. It's not the one where they're making the decision, but in light of the fact that we are off for a while for Thanksgiving break, I'm gonna be on 9 my time, 11 Eastern. And if you want to watch it with me, come on over. You all have been lovely. I thank you. We're going to bring him home. We really are. And hi, Grandma. I'm sorry I didn't see you in here to say thank you. Michelle Scott, Ginger Girl, Misty, Jen Benners, CB. Appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure I didn't miss any of you. I truly appreciate you being mods tonight, and everyone. Thank you for how kind you were, your compliments, and your passion for Sebastian. I'm going to go ahead and get off of here. Again, thank you again, and we will bring him home. Talk soon.